Well, a very good evening to you. Welcome to the King Abdulaziz racetrack here in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia for the very final time this season after 69 meetings here and a further 32 at TAFE. So just over 100, isn't it? 101 races. We come to the end of our racing. We come to the end of our racing then with an extravaganza. 3 championship races to come much later on, and they're valuable prizes as well. 300,000 Saudi Riyal up for grabs. It is a night for wearing your best, well, almost your best clobber anyway. Rory's alongside me to take us through this. You've been here for most of the season, Rory. I suppose sort of mixed emotions final night.
Yeah. It's been a very good season. We missed the very first week of it, and aside from Saudi Cup weekend, I've been here for the majority of it since. So we've seen lots of toing and froing and coming and going and ebbing and flowing in the championships, and it's been a thrilling season really. So we're coming to the end of it. Every time you get through 3 long shifts, you feel like you've accomplished something, and it's a bit of a relief to do that. But also, we'll be saying goodbye to Riyadh tomorrow morning. So this is a slightly emotional farewell for us.
It is, but it's the end of a season that will return, of course, next year. We wait to find out the precise details, and with the racing to come, of course, in the summer at TAFE as well. Now, Rory mentioned the championships. They're pretty much all decided, aren't they? Jockey, owner and trainer. What isn't decided, of course, is the little in-house competition for the tipping, which is very important. The numbers are 5, 4, 3, but not necessarily in that order, because Rory had a good day yesterday with 5, Callum with 4. I'm going to have to work from off the pace, but I think when you're only 2 behind, you still feel you've got a bit of a chance. So it is all to play for. And we're waiting to find out what the prize is. The last meeting, there's got to be something to take home with us at the end of that. Now, let's tell you about the racing. 8 races, of course, tonight. First race, local time as usual, at 9 o'clock during Ramadan. Our final races at midnight. That's how it all works out. Your eyes are drawn to the bottom of the screen for those championship races. The Fillies race to come first, race number 6. Then we've got the Arabian feature, of course, race number 7. And the big Group 1, local domestic Group 1 at midnight, kicking off with an open quite early on as well. Got our usual mix of maidens and a couple of handicaps in there as well. So some really good fare, particularly when we get to the sort of final part of the evening, Rory. Some top class horses in action here.
Yeah, the last 2 races are crackers, to be perfectly honest with you. And we've got not many non-runners on the night, not many reserves getting lucky to get in, but tremendously competitive racing. Nice quiet start with a fairly moderate 1200 metre maiden, but it picks up very quickly after that, and it does. It's an appropriate night to finish the season on.
It is, and it's been a lively night on the markets as well. Lots of market activity. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But let's introduce you to the third member of our team. He's been an almost ever present, of course, in the paddock and keeping us in touch with all that's happening outside. So let's say for the very final time this evening here in Riyadh, a very good evening to Callum.
Good evening, Daryl. I can't believe you're getting rid of me already. Hopefully you'll come to me a few more times this evening, but I completely understand what you mean. What a wonderful season we've had so far, and what a way to wrap it up. We've still got horses just arriving down to my right, coming down to the stabling areas for some of the races later on in the card as well, which is always good to see. Plenty of them making their way down from the stables down towards the main stabling area here behind the pre-parade ring. I thought I'd just spend this last race out on this wonderful track that's just been so sort of successful this year. Really safe surface. I know those of you who have been with us from the very beginning will know that I've waxed lyrical about this dirt surface. It's a deeper surface. It's got plenty of cushioning, plenty of protection as well, even in my very cheap trainers. And it certainly is a very good place to run racehorses. But Mustafa, if you just turn around, you'll be able to see the camber that we have on this track as well. So it really does sweep in and bend deep towards us as they turn away on this first turn, which is what makes it so more than impressive when you're drawn low earlier on in these longer races, especially in our last race, and you don't get crunched up on that first bend. So the final race, the King Abdulaziz Racetrack Championship, that domestic Group 1 is an absolute corker, I must admit. When you go through some of the names and you're like, wow, this is a proper race. Badder, who was a star last season. Bon Voyagio, who's only had a few runs in Saudi, but has really caught the attention for the Fawad Al Garabin team. Derivo has got plenty of scope for improvement as well. Man of the Night is almost dancing every single dance at this stage as well. And then you've got some of the unexposed runners. The American Raider, Moore's Law for the Red Stable, who have already wrapped up that Owners' Championship so far. And then some of the recent scorers, the King's General, he's an ex-UK runner. He scored a cup race victory last time out under Wigberto Ramos. Wiggy keeps the ride today. He got a little bit unlucky in his rides yesterday. He'll be hoping for a change of fortune. Thunder Squall also featured for Nicholas Bachelard. He had a winner yesterday. This is a horse who seems to be in a really good run of form at the moment and has won his last 2 starts. And then you've got some of the Saudi Cup beaten horses in the shape of Wait to Excel and Wootton Sun. This is certainly a far easier contest, and hopefully they should be able to put their best foot forward. Just going to take a little peek down here. You'll see some of our outriders. I think Faisal is the only one down here. But you get a good old look at him. I'll go and say hello. We'll meet him halfway for the final time of the year. One of my favourite members of the team. How are we, sir? Are we okay? All good? Happy for the end of the season?
Oh yeah, so happy.
What are you going to do in the break? Are you going back to Taif or are we staying here?
A break actually. We keep training for the summer season, summer season in Taif. So all the baby now, ready to next season. We're gonna be here on the track.
Well, we'll hopefully see you next season as well. Really well done for all your work you've done so far today, and we look forward to seeing you next season. Thank you. Daryl, back to you in the studio.
Callum, thanks very much indeed. Yes, I guess, for those of us who will be exiting here at the end of the racing today, you kind of think, well, it's all over, but it carries on, and there'll be many others who've still got plenty of work to do in the coming weeks, of course. Love to hear from you tonight as well. Wherever you're watching, we always asked you to get in touch and tell us where it is you're viewing this programme, the English-speaking service of the Jcsa coverage from Saudi Arabia on that YouTube channel. So please get in touch, let us know where you are tonight. I was just going to touch on that last race. You mentioned this briefly last night, that feature race, which I'm told has now been sort of regraded as a listed race, but in terms of the quality of the race, it's a very good race, as Callum was saying. You were suggesting, Roy, maybe those horses who had run in the Saudi Cup last time out, the likes of Wait to Excel and Wootton Sun amongst others, maybe this is possibly going to be a race too far, one race too many for them.
Yeah, I mean, you never know who's coming out. I'd have said it might have been a race too far from Musher Jumbo last night, for example. He's been very, very busy for most of the season. He ran the race of his life to win by a wide margin last night. But you never know when they've had enough. We did see Mike Frankel yesterday looking pretty flat when he had an outstanding chance on turf yesterday. So I'm not entirely sure that. I don't think there are many horses, although this is traditionally a local Group 1 international listed status. I'm not sure many horses would have this as their prime target, because there's so much going on, sort of end of January through February.
Of course.
That it ends up being, a big finale. You're there to run in it, but other horses will have had bigger targets beforehand as well.
Yeah, listen, it's good to have it, though. It's nice to have championship races as such on the final night. Now we need to bring you or invite in our fourth member of the team this evening, a man doing all the hard graft, if you like, from the commentary box. So let's say a very good evening to Alex Fussy. Alex.
Thank you, Daryl. Very good evening to you and everyone watching on. Let's have a look at the runners and riders for our first of 8 then. A local bred maiden to begin over 1200. Number 1 is Alazraki, Camilo Ospina. The 2 is Al-Thib Ghanim. That's Adel Al-Faradi. Anstain is the 3, Abdullah Al-Kredis. Saktuk is the 4, that's Tariq Al-Mansour. Jamiri is number 5, Naif Al-Anazi. And the 6 is Kayot Al-May Azib, Mohammed Al-Dahan. We will go over the page and find the 7 shortly. That'll be Suntet, and that'll be Abdullah Al-Farouz. The 8 is Tay4, Mohammed Al-Habib. The 9, Bintop Music, Ayad Al-Tarisi. The 10 is Dross, Mohammed Al-Yami. The 11, Gala Al-Shamal, that's Sil Al-Shahani. Number 12 is Gawanin, Mohammed Suleiman. 13, Jayatkum, that's Noef Al-Farouz. The 14 is Kla Amal, Mohammed Al-Nasser. 15, Lahia, that's Abdullah Al-Yesh. The 16, Mortashah, Abdullah Al-Lawfi. The 17, Motasifa, Abdullah Al-Saidi. And the 18, rounding out the field, Muasal, that's Mohammed Al-Hubail. There we go, we got them all in the end, 18 of them in the opener. and Callum is casting his eye over the fields.
Thank you very much, Alex. Yes, they're in the parade ring for our opening contest. Al-Azraqi is the first one we're going to take a peep at. Built like a bit of a bull, this one. He's had plenty of experience now on start number 9. Not the most imposing individual, but is a nice enough type, looks fit enough to do the damage today. A lot of these sort of 2-year-olds who were basically now baby 3-year-olds on show have just maybe either had a little bit too much racing or have been really, really late to the party. So we'll be hoping that some of these horses can sort of pick up just a little bit more and learn from the experience. Al-Azraqi is certainly going to be one of them. Let's pull our way back to the 8. This is Tay 4. I thought he looked fantastic in the prelims. Really caught my eye in here. Big white flashy roan grey coming towards us. Markings you don't normally see on a racehorse nowadays. He wouldn't look far out in a dressage ring, but he's a gorgeous type, Tay 4, by Flashy Bull. Makes debut today, which can be a little bit of a concern, because you imagine he would have more experience, but he's a leggy type and probably will be better next season. But I do like him. He did catch my eye. He's got a lovely shoulder on him as well. A real eye catcher in the parade ring, and one that would make my shortlist. We'll pull one back and we'll look at the 9, who's just getting checked up in the parade ring, getting pulled across quickly, so we'll miss the 9 and go to the 11. This is Gala Al-Samal, who's coming towards me now. Now, I really like the 11. Really nice type here. Look, has done nothing on 2 starts so far. 2 duck eggs next to the name, but looks in really good nick, doesn't he? A really eye-catching type, this filly. She's well built in behind. She's got a lovely flat back, not a high set of withers on her, and she's partnered by Asil Al-Sahani, who had a double yesterday and was nearly on the treble. He'll be hoping to kick off today, just like he did yesterday. And finally, there's the 9 actually, just come towards us now, just a little replay. This is Bint Top Music, come towards us now for connections that have lots of success. Naif Wanas doing the training, he's alongside me now. This horse is really nice. Naif, on debut, are you excited about this one's chances?
Inshallah, we have good chance, inshallah.
Good to hear. He's had a very good end to the season, and the final one we'll focus on is the 15, Lahia. She comes towards us now. Now, she is built like a brick, isn't she? She's a big, strong girl. She's actually probably still carrying a bit of condition, but you'd be surprised that she's taken so long to come to the track, because what she lacks in height, she makes up for in a bit of chunk. She's a strong girl, but maybe she'll just need this run. I'd be looking elsewhere. I'm going to draw myself to the 11 here. Gala Al-Shimal has had 2 pretty poor runs so far, but looks set to have a big run today.
Well, we often say it, don't we? But Callum, of course, looks at those horses, doesn't pay any or have any bearing on how he looks and what he says regarding price. And the 11 horse there, Gala Al-Shimal, is a 50-1 chance, one of the biggest prices on the board here. The favourite is the top one, that is Al-Azraqi at 11-4. We'll talk more about the market in a moment, Rory. We want to have a look at some VT clues, and Jcsa's the first one we can see. I watched this earlier on today, and we don't see this horse until this clip is almost over, and it's a real eye-catching late charge to eventually finish second.
Yeah, not actually in the shot at the moment, and we'll probably focus in on the horse in front for a second. But when we do pan back, you see on the green and blue hoops coming from a long way back with that white breast girth, Jcsa runs on very well from a hopeless position to grab second. Had been runner-up on his previous start as well before a break. So 2 solid runs in a row with a break in between. Looked a little bit rusty in the early stages there and should do better.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Can he get that sort of run again here now? This is Tuak or Swak? Twak? Don't know how we're calling it.
So Twak, I would say. We see that running on for a fairly modest third. Last time I beaten 14 3/4 lengths, but this is behind Kate Charret, who's gone on to win a couple of races subsequently and is one of the fastest juveniles on the circuit this season. So no disgrace to be put in your place by that, and running on well towards the line. So Soktuak should be competitive again today. Tough race. The favourites rated 54 and comes here not in particularly good form. So you wouldn't be at all surprised to see a surprise in here. And it's interesting to see what Callum has picked up. Largely outsiders, and he wasn't particularly impressed, I didn't think, by the favourite in the parade ring either.
No, he wasn't. We'll check the market in a second. This is Tariq Al Mansour, who is just having a tack change on. I can see here why I got the pronunciation wrong. There's a bit of spelling issue here, but anyway, Swaktark is having tack adjustment, and so is the 13 as well. 13 is the horse we showed on the VT, the other VT, of course, Jcsa, who has been backed. I mentioned at the top of the programme, there's been quite a bit of activity, certainly in some of the early races, and that horse was 11-2. It's now 4-1. However, it is Alaz Raki who is the favourite. Let's go back to Callum to get us up to speed with what's going on down there at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit of drama down here at the start. We had the 4 with the first one, who just needed to get reweighed, basically. The jockey came out and just had to get reweighed. That was Suk Twak, who is just now getting really revved up, as you imagine here. He's only had the 1 start, but finished 3rd on debut. The 13 was the other one that just needed a weight adjustment as well. That horse has settled much, much better, the 13. That would be Jake Tum. That has handled things much, much better. Now if Al Farouz had to basically sprint across, I think he went to get weighed out, I should say, inside. So he ran all the way across to the weighing room and then had to leg it all the way back. Meanwhile, Tariq Al Mansour was slightly different. He got weighed out here, where we usually see the winning jockeys get weighed in. But as you can see, this horse is pretty revved up at this point. Tariq doing a marvellous job there as well. He's not just a rider, he can tack up and do it all himself. They're trying to keep the horse moving because they just don't want him to stop and then suck in and go back up on 2 legs. One thing I would be suggesting, I wouldn't have 2 guys on either side of him personally, because you can just see he'll start to lift it now. Steady on, silly, steady on. And it's just one of these situations where you've got a horse who's only had the 1 run, and then what happens is they get through the race course, they know what's coming, they know they're going to go racing, so they're already revved up and ready to go. But what happens is that they're so revved up and ready to go, they can't understand why they can't go straight away now. So what the trainer's trying to do now, get this horse moving, which is crucial, because if you keep the horse moving, it's less interested in going up on 2 legs. So they're probably going to do a big old loop and then come back around. It should be pretty smooth sailing from here, boys, but I'll let you know if anything changes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Callum. Yeah, one of the fillies in the field, of course, and we showed you the VT, running a long way down the field, but behind horses who are rated much higher than she achieved on a, well, she didn't get a rating on her first run, but if you look at that, she was running behind 80-plus rated rivals, so she didn't do too badly, all things considered. Let's give you the top of the market then. So Alaz Raki won at 11-4, 7-2 is number 2, Athib Ghanim. Then we've got this money that came for the 13, Jcsa at 4-1. And you're looking 6-1, Morte Shah, the 16 horse, and bigger prices. The rest, who's catching your eye then in terms of these?
Well, not the 4. I mean, she's got an interesting piece of form which is seen on VT, but clearly misbehaving at the start, and she's been off for quite a long time since that debut, which you know, all of which are red flags. I'd be a little bit negative on the one now who I had on my short list as well. I'm surprised actually that Jcsa, who's attracted support, was such a big price in the first place. I thought he would have been disputing favouritism, and he would again be on my short list. I don't mind him in terms of looks at all, so I'd be reasonably happy with him. He's drawn a stall 17, but I don't think the way the track rides at the moment, that's a big worry.
No. I think we were saying before, weren't we, last night, that the outside draws, the wide draws are not an issue.
No, I mean, the one thing he won't be doing is bouncing out and getting a good position from that stall. So there is half a chance that if you start slowly from the outside, you can get a little bit lost. And obviously, he didn't get away particularly well last time out, but I'd expect better from him. I mean, he's shaped as if he's not a sprinter last time out, so I can see that'll be the negative with him. He ended up running a very good race, but did it a little bit upside down. But hopefully, that was his first run for a while. He can actually build on it and run a little bit better here. But it's a tough race, given that the standard is so low, that the ceiling is low. A lot of these who haven't shown much wouldn't have to improve enormously to go close. So this is the kind of race where you wouldn't be at all surprised to see a bit of a shock. And it's interesting that Callum's picked out a couple of outsiders in the paddock, including a newcomer.
Yeah, no money for any of the debutants. That's worth noting. Well, I'm absolutely with 13 Jcsa, as I say. Watching the video earlier and watching it again there, you got to like what you're seeing. There's 2 placed efforts from the fillies. I think we're going to agree here, aren't we?
Yes,
13.
I will also be with number 13, Jcsa.
Right, let's go back to Callum.
Yeah, Jcsa's an interesting selection. I did think she handled things far better than her stablemate. The wrong saddles were on, which was the issue. The 11 is going to be the pick for me, but watch out for the 9. I'm intrigued by that one in what doesn't look to be the strongest of contests. Alex Fussy, they're loading pretty quickly. It's over to you.
Thank you, Callum. Yeah, last few to take their places, probably about halfway through this loading process at the moment. If you fancy Jcsa, you're looking to stall at 17, as been mentioned. Quite wide, but track playing the way that might not be too much of an issue. So we've got, I think, a handful still to go now. And Stain is one of those. It'll be interesting to see how the 4-horse here, Suak Tuak, takes the loading process, having been so worked up in the paddock when having those saddle adjustments. Is one of the final ones to go forwards here. Jamaray also just moving into position, and Al Azraqi is going to be another one of the final 3. Down to the last pair. In fairness, Suak Tuak has gone in okay, and Al Azraqi completes the line. We are ready for the evening opener. They're off. Away they go. Jumped away here, couple of them fluffing the start. They raced over 1,200 metres in this local bred maiden. It was Lahaya who gave them plenty at the start, well, plenty being distance. Down on the inside, Al-Azraqi got a good beginning, also away smartly Sunset, and Suak Tuak is there in the green and yellow colours. They make the front wave. They're being followed as they work around the turn by the 16 Mortashah, who's there in the blue coloured jacket, and also racing with that one is Kiot Al-Mazib in the black colours. Not too many others playing a part at the moment. Jcsa is in midfield, just switching to the outside to try and produce some sort of bid. They're about to turn to the top of the home straight. Al-Azraqi and a bit of bother. Company upside. Suntet trying to poke their head in front. Wider of those is Kiot Al-Mayazib, who's coming down the centre to try and pick them up. Suak Tuak is still in there fighting in the green and yellow. Jcsa is now finishing off well. Right down the middle of the course, he's trying to pick them up here. Might have the strongest finishing kick. Jcsa tries to get past. Kiot Al-Mazib is still there on the inside, but Jcsa is wearing away, chipping away and getting up close to home. Jcsa takes the opener. Going to be tight for second, isn't it? 16 and 6 upsides. Mortashah running home in company with Kiot Al-Mayazib. Good start to the evening card for Daryl and Rory. Selections for them going in. Jcsa, who has come home nicely down the centre. We saw that big finishing effort previously, and it wasn't quite as drastic this time around, but you knew once in a challenging position that the end of the race was likely to be positive in terms of finish. 2 1/4 lengths is the winning margin, and the clock has been stopped in a time of 1:14.94. The second is the 6, Kiot Al-Mayazib, just holding on over Mortashah, who's run very well in the blue jacket near side, and Suak Tuak in 4th place, and that was a decent display despite being rather worked up beforehand. Order of finish for race 1, 13, 6, 16 and 4.
Well, the 13 has been well back to Jcsa. We knew would come from off the pace, not quite as far back as she was in the VT, but she's come home well to beat number 6, Kiot Al-Mayazib, who just held off Mortashah 16 for 3rd place, and then Suak Tuak was back in 4th place. So it is 13, 6, 16 and 4. The all-important numbers, and the winner's been returned at 4-1. We'll look at the replay with Rory shortly. In the meantime, I think we can pop back to Callum, get some early reaction to this first winner.
Thank you very much, Daryl, and well done to you and Rory for picking out Jcsa. A very eventful start for her in the parade ring. It turned out the trainer had the wrong saddle on each horse. There was the 2 horses were down here, a stablemate, and there was just an incorrect saddle placement, so they had to swap around and re-weigh, I should say. And credit to Nawaf Al Farouz, who ran back to the weighing room, got weighed out, ran back to the parade ring, jumped on, and has managed to win. So he'll be very happy with this success aboard Jcsa. She's an interesting filly. She's got a lot of development still to come in behind, but she's done this well here and made it 5th time lucky after a couple of second-placed efforts. So Connection will be really happy that she's managed to round her season off with a win. And it's great when we can then win in their first year in racing. So it's always a positive when they can get a win in their juvenile campaign, and the team have got one here. So the team are going to enjoy this photo, and boys, you can enjoy scoring another point in the competition.
Yeah, early days, 7 races to go. Rory with 6 winners, 4 each for Callum and myself. And there is the winner, Rory. And I guess, you know, the position that she held, you had to feel you had a chance with her.
Yeah, when she was in touch off the bend,
yeah.
I thought she was going to take a fair bit of stopping. They went hard enough earlier on. Al-Azraqi, I guess he was still the favourite on the off, went forward with the outsider Suntet. Saouk Touak, who caused a little bit of trouble at the start, also went forward, and our eventual runner-up, Kayot Al-Mayazib, made a move around the outside of those 3, looking very dangerous off the bend. But then you had a quick look back and saw Jcsa swinging wider still. In fact, we're going to get that now. That's Kayot Al-Mayazib in front at the moment, and wider still in the blue cap is our eventual winner, Jcsa, who was building on 2 second-place finishes, and she's fully deserving of this. She's not a superstar. She's not really a sprinter, I don't think either. It'll be interesting to see how she gets on, stepping up to 1,400 metres. And this is a pretty slow time, 1 minute 14.94 for the 1,200 metres here. But she can only beat what's put in front of her, and she's done it very professionally. Yeah,
and I think you were saying, certainly off air, that she probably should have been a little bit short in the market to start with. She was back, though. Punters latched onto it. Let's have a look at the full race again. 15 slowly away. Here, the favourite of the winner, rather, was drawn to the outside with the blue and the green in 17, but there's plenty of pace to this near side initially.
Yeah, right on the rail is Al-Azraqi. He was drawn in stall 4. He gets a good break. Suntet in stall 5 next to it in the purple colours also goes up, and the filly with the white face, Saouk Touak, was drawn in stall 6. So they all showed early speed. In behind them is the eventual third, Jcsa, who just got a bit outpaced on the rail at this stage, and coming round them in the black colours is Kayot Al-Mayazib, who looks a big threat, turning for home. But into 6th place now is our eventual winner, and we know that she finishes off strongly. So even when she's 4 lengths behind now, you felt she's going to play a big part in the finish, and she swings widest of all, which is never a problem here, and always gaining on them at this stage.
Yeah, at this stage, I think if you were, rooting for her, you probably thought, well, now, we're in a great position. The yellow cap further back is the second favourite, Al-Thib Ghanim, who's probably finished about
he's finished 5th in the end.
Fifth in the end. Okay.
Yeah. So we had Adel Al-Faradi and Camilo Espina having their own little private battle for 5th and 6th place.
Yes.
And that's where they have finished in the end.
Yeah, and of course we've got this little battle going on, haven't we, for second place in the Jockeys Championship, with Camillo having closed within 1 of Mohammed last night, 79 place 78. So that's a little side event going on to try and finish second behind Adele, who's on 90 winners at the start of the night. But yeah, the market told the story, I guess you could say, in race number 1 this evening, with the well-backed winner coming home 4-1 from 11-2. So we're going to step it up a notch next, Rory. We've got an open over 1,400. This is the second race for 3-year-olds. There's been money for number 6 on the card, Jabal, and also number 12, Tarahib. So interesting to see 2 market movers that have elevated those horses. That's horses 6 and 12 to the top end of the market. In fact, Tarahib is now favoured at 7-2. What's your sort of early thoughts then as we get set to look forward to this one?
I thought it was a pretty tough contest. Alabraz has got a decent chance on his best form, the top one. Wasn't disgraced last time out, and actually holds the form choice, which is Motamaiz on that form. I thought it was pretty open. I thought Born a King was just about the pick of them, but not an easy one. I went Born a King, Alabraz is my second choice, Jabal third, and my fourth pick in the race was Tarahib. So two of those who were my picks have been
included.
Whether that's cause and effect, I'm not entirely sure, but those were the four that I picked. I could easily have gone with a couple of others as well. It looks a very open.
Oh, it does. Born a King is certainly 4-1 at the moment. Rory's sort of early selection. He may go with an alternative when we come to making our choices, but Born a King at 4s under Camillo. Right, what else is coming up? If you've just joined us, welcome along. Last day. I know, last day, isn't it? So we've got this Open coming up over 1,400 for these 3-year-olds. Then we've got a local bred Maiden. That's going to be 3-year-olds as well. There's a Handicap coming up at 10.15, which is for horses rated 0 to 85, local and imported horses. Then we come on to the features, of course, 11, 10, 11, 35 and 12 o'clock, all race track championship events. So some big prizes, some prestige in terms of those events, the final races of the night. And let us know where you're watching from this evening, and let us know if you had success in that first race. Who do you like in race number 2 coming up as well? As I say, Tarahib has become favourite, horse number 12, who is rated 70. But did run very well, good strong finishing second, I think it was, last time out. Right, whilst you make your decisions and contemplate who you might be supporting, let's go back to Alex for the full list of runners and riders.
Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, second race coming up then, this Open contest. We may not have some supporting graphics here, but we will tell you who's to look out for in this one. Number 1 is Alabraz, Abdulaziz Al Faradi. The 2 is Athal, Eddie Castro. 3 on your race card, Born a King, already been mentioned by the gents in the studio, Camilo Ospina. The 4, Chukotka, Naifal Anazi. 5, Al Jabati, Fahad Al Faradi. The 6, Jabal, Mohammed Al Daham. The 7 is Mekled, Asil Al Shahani. Number 8 is Motamez, Norwef Al Muriani. 9 on the card is Riyadh Al Iz, Abdullah Al Lawfi. The 10 being Saudi King for Luis Morales. 11 is Sheikh Abdulaziz Al Yesh. The 12, Tarahib, Tariq Al Mansour. 13, Al Sultan, Abdullah Al Credis now rides. 14 is Brabrosa, Osama Al Shorani. 15, Kashush, Norwef Al Farouz. The 16 is Safar Jean, Mohammed Saeed. 17, Too Enticing, Adel Al Faradi. 18 is Wafi for Mohammed Al Hubail. 19, Abyat Thab Al Timyat. And rounding out the field, number 20 is Renad Mohammed Al Nasser. That's the field of 20 for this Open race as we go back to Callum.
Thank you, Alex. Let's have a look at the 1, Alabraz. Really good looking individual here. He's had plenty of chances now. This is start number 6 for him, but he's won twice already and has to make the shortlist here. Exceptionally well turned out by the Abdulaziz Meshref team, as per usual. Let's draw back to Born a King. Rory liked this one on paper, and Rory, I can tell you, I like it in the parade ring as well. Looks really well put together, big, strong type here. Gorgeous head on him as well. He's a nice looking type. Let's drop back to the 5, El Jabati. This is a really nice type. The Red Stable have a couple in here who really caught my eye. This is El Jabati. Looks really well. Clearly lined up to win this race because the Red Stable was starting this weekend behind in the Owners' Championship. So you have to put everything that they've entered into consideration. El Jabati does stand out, doesn't he? What a good-looking individual he is. He's the son of Gayas, and a typical son of Gayas. He looks like he's going to get better as he gets older, but a lovely-looking type for sure. In behind, we've got Jabal, one of my favourites here in Saudi Arabia. 3 starts and never out the first 2, but was slightly disappointing when pretty well easily beaten last time out and makes a very quick turnaround. He's not shaping like a horse who wants to go racing today, if I'm being perfectly honest. He's a big, heavy-set horse, and he's had plenty of racing recently. Although my heart would like him to win, my head and my eyes are saying I think it might be a tough ask. In behind, we've got Mekled. This is another one for Samar Al Dahani and the Al Sabar team. I'd say this horse looks a little bit better in the parade ring for me. Has had plenty of chances, though. Start number 10 for Mekled this season, who has been on the go for a while. And again, just one that maybe looks a little bit better than Jabal. If I had to pick between the two, I'd be siding with Mekled. Let's take a little pause and go back to the 9. Riyadh LA's. And Mustafa, just mind your back there because you might collide into some onlookers there. This is the 9, Riyadh LA. I think this horse has got a really nice chance. Look, rated 59. But with a winner last time out. A nice enough looking individual for sure. Doesn't look like he's been over-raced either, so I'd be willing to give this horse a chance. Look, on ratings, he's got plenty to find, but I think he is trending in the right direction. Finally, I just want to look at 2 more towards the bottom end, 17 and 18. That is too enticing. And who's the 18? Wafi, both of whom are very intriguing prospects. We'll motor our way back up the parade ring to try and catch them. We've seen Abdulaziz Al Faradi looking very happy. He's on the 1, who's got a great chance. This is the 17 to start with. This is too enticing. Really intrigued by this one. Really caught my eye in the parade ring. Adel Al Faradi on board by Enticed, obviously, with the name. Just like El Jabati, really fills the eye. Looks like a proper 1400 metre horse who will stay further in the future. Really intrigued to see how this one gets on, and I'm looking forward to seeing the run. Big eye catcher, flashy type 2. And in behind, we've got the best turned out horse for sure is the 18. What a job they've done here. This is Wafi. Look at the quarter marks on this one. Looks absolutely spectacular. Credit to the grooms and the entire team at Abdulaziz Al-Zabi, who have got this one turned out looking absolutely magnificent. Look, the form is pretty poor, but he has improved with each start, and Mohammed Al-Habail is on board, and he's always a dangerous jockey to follow. So hopefully we've seen some nice ones. I think this will be a good little race. I'll give you a paddock pick in a little bit more time.
Thank you, Callum. He's weighing it all up as to who's going to catch the eye paddock-wise. Evening to Ed, who's jumped on board. Ed Rayfield. Hi, guys. Welcome, Ed, to the programme. And thank you for getting in touch. You can do so, of course, on the comments page on the YouTube channel as well. We've got a lovely betting heat here, Rory, because Tarahib and Jabal, horses 12 and 6, continue to shorten. 3-1 now, 12 Tarahib. 4-1 is Jabal. And they are the amongst top 3 in the market, because Born King is steady at 7-2. Now joint favourite with the 12, so it's all pretty lively actually.
Yeah, quite a lot of these have got form over slightly further, and that complicates things a little bit. Not many, you would say, were specialists at this trip, and I think it might be a little bit sharp for 1 or 2. El Jabarti, who Callum liked in the paddock, I like this as well, but he's a horse who improved for stepping up to 2,000 metres a couple of starts ago, and then probably got caught out by the drop back to a mile last time out when third to Sultan Al Samawi. He's definitely a Thursdayer at 2,000 metres, and I think dropping back further and trip to 1,400 won't suit him, but he might just be the best prospect of these long term. Again, being a son of Gayat, they do tend to be late developers, as the sire was himself. Yeah,
he's an 11-1 chance. Shall we have a look at some VT clues? Callum mentioned Riyadh El Ez, who is horse number 9, and this is the Maiden. I'm not sure how good this Maiden form is, to be honest.
No, I didn't think this was very strong either, mainly because the horse that finishes second in this here, Riyadh El Ez, coming with a strong run down the outside. They've gone a little bit hard in front and fallen in a bit of a hole. The 2 big stables represented there, but they've got into a battle a long way from home. And Riyadh El Ez has sat off that and come home strongly. The horse that runs on for second, Cash, was just a very moderate 6th in a similar race to that last night, and I just think that suggests that those who were held off the pace are a bit flattered by it.
Having a look at Born a King here, finishing second. This is in a handicap, and the winner's come out and gone in again, so maybe this has got a bit more sustenance about it.
Yeah, I think there's I think this is a decent piece of form for Born a King. He does kind of dive towards the rail there, but he keeps closing down, and a lot of these have finished behind Wadatak Allah, the winner here this season. Most of them beaten a fair way. He actually gives Wadatak Allah a bit of a fright here in the closing stages, going down in a photo. So if you start rating these horses on their various meetings with that horse, then he comes out very well. He has been beaten since that. He ran on turf last time out and was a little bit disappointing, but I don't think he was suited by the surface. And he saw this trip out, I saw the 1,600 metres out well, went second to Wadatak Allah on his penultimate start. He does a form over shorter as well, so he's another one who's dropping back in trip, which might not be absolutely ideal, but he does have form over a little bit shorter as well, so I think he'll acquit himself well.
Yeah, good solid piece of film there, and of course you've got Camillo Ospina, if you're going to be with the 3 Born a King, who is joint favourite. In fact, it's just gone back to favouritism now. It's so lively, this international market. Back to 3s. Tarahib, the 12, at 7-2, well backed. Jabal is on 9-2. That's been supported. And then the top one, Alabraz, who I think was 6s early in the day, is now 5-1. So, there's plenty of interest. And it's not just one horse. There's a bit of toing and fro, which is quite unusual to see. Normally, in these markets, you see one horse get backed and that's the one they want. But
yeah, I'd quite like to talk about Alabraz,
yes.
who has a rating of 71. He's giving 1 kilo away to most of these, so he's, strictly speaking, he's got a little bit in his plate. And on form, he was slightly below par last time out, went 4th to the aforementioned Wadatak Ala. But I think he's poorly positioned in a fairly slowly run race that day. Did good late work, and finished with running left. I think he'll be sitting. Well, I'm not sure he will be sitting closer to the pace here, but there will be a stronger pace to run at. He's run out in stall 15. Again, that doesn't bother me. In fact, you'd almost rather be, because you want to come with a run outside of runners here, there's no real harm in being wide if you've got the experience to deal with it. So I thought Alabraz would run well. He is a course and distance winner. He's got Abdulaziz Al Furedi on board. Theoretically, he needs to step up on that, but as I said, he holds Motomaiz on that piece of form. Motomaiz is pretty well rated from his form earlier in the season. So Alabraz will do better off a very strong pace. And, as will 1 or 2 of these, Born a King will appreciate that as well, as will the stayers in the race. But Alabraz will just get the pick from me. He wasn't my initial pick, but I'm coming round to him ahead of Born a King. Those 2 are the pair I think you should concentrate on here.
Okay, so Alabraz then for Rory is going to be his choice. I mean, I certainly share your enthusiasm for Born a King. I just prefer, though, Tarahib, the 12. It was a good run last time. It was over 1,600, admittedly, so another one that's dropping down in distance, but it's run a couple of decent races behind slightly higher rated horses. A lot of these, they're not particularly exposed, are they, these? I mean,
No, some of these are definitely capable of better
absolutely.
running into next season as well.
Yeah, so we might be sort of putting horses in the notebook. It seems a long time away now, next season, but you put them in, you forget about it until whenever it is next autumn. So yeah, I'm going to take Tarahib, then the 12, Rory's with the 1, Alabraz, and let's see if Callum's been able to whittle down the many horses he liked in the parade ring to come up with just the 1, please, Callum.
It was really tough to come up with one, but Alabraz is going to be the pick for me. The 1 is between the 1 and the 5. I thought Alabraz and El Jabtri both looked really well, but I just had to lean towards Alabraz, especially over this trip. El Jabtri dropping back markedly in trip, and with a pedigree that suggests he'll get even further than 2,000 in time. So intriguing to see what he does in this race. Obviously, I'd love to see Jabal run a good race. I think he's a real one for next season. I think he's got a proper motor, and he's just a big raw thing. I know Tom Collins at home really likes him. I think he could run a fairly big race. The 17, too enticing. Another one that caught the eye in the parade ring. Another very good looking individual too. Shined up really nicely in that coat, and Adel Al-Faredi in the saddle is not a negative. Sheikh, the 11, the Mount of Abdulaziz Al Yesh, he just looked a little bit light in the prelim for me. Very shiny in the coat, but just looked a little bit light. I would like a little bit more, very rarely I'd say this, I'd like a little bit more condition on that one. A couple of the others that stood out, we've got to talk about Born a King, looked really well in the prelims. That's the mount of Camille Ospina. Eddie Castro is aboard Asal. Had a quick chat with him as he went out, so hopefully that horse runs a big race. He seemed quietly confident in the saddle. Mekled, it's just, we kind of seen what we need to see with Mekled, really, haven't we? It's an interesting horse, because in a race like this, he could be sort of bringing in that sort of, his floor is a lot higher than a lot of these horses. So you'd imagine that if they all run to their basement level, he could be involved. But if there's a couple of these have a much higher ceiling than a horse like Mekled, who's had plenty of racing already. Motomaiz is there, that's the 8. I'd look past that if I could. Some of the ones towards the bottom, we mentioned Wafi being turned out incredibly well. Renad as well, the 20, was another one who I thought was turned out well for the same team, so the same owner and trainer doing the business with that pairing too. So looking forward to seeing how both of those run. They're drawn in 11 and 18. So although Rory did mention being drawn out in 15 may not be a total negative. I'd rather be drawing in 1 than 18 every single day of the week. So I'll be hoping that Alabraz gets a decent enough run through and gets to use that slingshot that we saw used off the bend in our last contest, which was an intriguing thing to see and a thing clean to work quite well. The pick for me is going to be the one Alabraz. Got to give a bit of weight away to some of the others here, but I'm intrigued about what this horse does. Good looking individual. Hopefully he can make it 3 wins on the season. Alex, it's all yours.
Cheers, Callum. Yeah, runners going forwards. Best of luck with your picks here. First of the field locked away. Tarahib has just gone in. The 12 horse moving into stall number 6. Hard up against the inside rail. Saudi King has popped forwards into 1. No bothers at all. They do file forward swiftly, don't they, once they start. Riyadh Al-Ez moving in the green and yellow colours. It's the distinguishing white cap for the 7, Mekled, who is out wide in 17. Black and white, Kashush is moving up, and also going in is Mutamez. Very pale stripe on the jacket. The checks coming up now is Abyat. The final couple are taking their places, including Sheikh, who is drawn out pretty wide. Jabal is in, and we are ready to race. Couple restless. And the 11, Sheikh, was there, went back. But it's back there now. All aboard. And they're off. They are underway, racing away here in the open over 1,400 metres. Not convinced it was the best of starts for Mekled out wide, who's needing some early squeezing. Same ownership, Jabal got a good beginning though. One of the first to get going, right up there down on the inside. Athal is also showing rather prominently. Another one to come forwards is Saudi King in the purple silks down on the inside running rail. Looking a bit wider, Wafi is not too far from the pace. The royal blue and white striped jacket, that one's followed through by Born King and also Alabraz, who's pushing into it from a deep position. Mutamez is following next as they go around the turn, and they're being followed by Chakutka, who's quickly backpedaling, actually, can't live up with the pace. Mekled, after a tardy start, is trying to latch on. On that one's inside is Barossa, and also Abyat runs the rail. But up top, turning for home, it's Jabal who's just in front, but plenty on the shoulder, producing some sort of challenge. Wafi is under strong driving. Between rivals is Athal. Away to the outside border, King tries to pick up with Alabraz. Mutamez is looking for racing room in behind. 3 or 4 still up top and almost in a row as they work inside the final 200. It is now just Wafi picking it up by a narrow margin. Wafi is ahead from the back of the field. Tarahib is running on late. Still coming is Mutamez. Close to home we go. Wafi needs the line, but it comes. Beating Mutamez in second. Tarahib run on very nicely for third. Athal just in behind. Success then for the 18. Wafi has gone on to win for Mohammed Al Hubail and has managed to fight off all comers. There was several chances turning for home. Couple of closes. Just be interesting to look back on their runs, but they couldn't stop Wafi, who's gone on to beat Mutamez, who raced in midfield and has run a solid race. The most notable one to close in was Tarahib, who eventually clocks in third. Talking of clock, the winning time was 1:27.56, and the order of finish for race 2, the Open, was 18, 8, 12 and 2.
Well, this is a big price winner, isn't it? You've done well if you manage to lash on to Wafi, who's returned, we believe, at 40 to 1 to beat number 8 Motamaiz into second. 12 Tarahib flashing home late, too late in the end, and 2 Athal was back in fourth place. So 18, 8, 12 and 2, as we say hello to Anavia, who's joined us. Welcome to the programme, and let's head back to Callum.
Oh, heartbreaking. Sometimes the pretty ones are the ones you got to pick. I cannot stress enough how well turned out Wafi was. Really, really looked well in the parade ring and has run a career best effort here to make it 5th time. Lucky to land the first success. Came here for a rating of 47, but like we said, you know, a rating of 47 seems quite harsh for a horse that's trending in the right direction, and he's put up a really, really good effort here, always up with the vanguard, and whilst others fell away, he stayed strong and just about held on from the on-rushing 8. He came flying home to nab a place as well. There was plenty of drama all the way. Motamaiz flashing home. Tarahib as well came from the back. Athal was on the speed early, and so was Jabal, and Born a King also up there as well. Alabraz, guys, if we followed Alabraz here, the draw in 15 didn't help because there was a lot of horses on our inside and we could never really settle. But Mohammed Al Habail, we said he's a dangerous jockey and he's landed a success here. He'll be very happy with this horse's success. If you get a good look at this horse, he's a real stunner. Cannot take my eyes off this one. Exceptionally turned out, beautiful quarter markings on, very correct, and glad to see this horse has got the head in front eventually. He's by Painter, a stallion who I don't know too much about, but he's taken the victory here and done it well. And you can see Abdulaziz Al-Zabi there with the horse just to the left of the horse there in really good fashion. He's over the moon with that, and so he should be. Guy that was hard to find in the market, but I'm kicking myself I didn't make him my paddock pick.
Yeah, well, up for consideration as far as Callum was concerned, and Mohammed steps down from Wafi, who on the 5th start of his career has come home. A somewhat unexpected winner, Rory, at 40 to 1. But as we said, there's lots of unexposed horses in this particular race.
Yeah, he's run the race of his life to win this Wafi, but you know, Callum did give him a positive mention in the paddock.
He did.
More for how well he was turned out, I suppose, than the fact that he looked in particularly good order. But he did look well, and he's won from stall 11. I think stall 11 and stall 12, the first two home.
Yeah.
As I see them swinging for home, he's in the blue blinkers in the middle of that group. Those who set a fairly strong pace, Jabal on the inside, plugs away, but ends up finishing 5th, I think. The horse in the white colours with the blue cap. Next to him is Athal, who was 4th. Although he was all out at the finish, our winner has just held on. You see your selection in the yellow sleeves coming strongest at the finish. But again, running on strongly over a mile last time, I dropped by the 7 furlongs.
The problem,
was a question mark for a few of these, and it just hasn't quite worked out.
Yeah, a little bit frustrating. Didn't get a great start from gate 6, I think it was as well, Tarahib. But let's have a look at those that did get on the front end early on, and the winner was going to move up fairly quickly in the striped colours down the centre.
Yeah, always in a pretty good position. Was Wafi. I had him down in about 4th or 5th. Yeah. In the very early stages. Jabal, you'll see in the Al Sabah colours, leading this from Athal. Those are the two that came 5th and 4th in the end. Wafi's now next in line. Born a King trapped wide, and wider still was number 1 Alabraz, who's ended up sort of losing ground on the bend as a result. It's one of those you either need to get to the front from that sort of wide draw, or you need to tuck in a little bit to save ground on the bend, and it's okay to come wide into the straight, but if you're being pushed deep on the track by other horses, you're going to lose a bit of momentum doing so, and Alabraz, as you can see, ends up doing so. Looks a brief threat off the bend, but has had to work hard just holding his place around the turn, and has nothing left for the finish. But Wafi, despite being all out at this stage and surrounded by others, has found just enough to hold on. Strong finish from Motamaiz.
Very deep,
in the light green sleeves, the white body with a stripe, and finishing strongest of all from about 7th place at this stage as your selection, Tarahib, who really gets going at this stage and finishes very strongly. Another few yards, and that would have been a winner for you, but sadly Tarahib couldn't quite get there.
No, you can see flashing home. It's a good finish, isn't it? And Wafi, something of an upset winner at 40 to 1 then, for those lucky enough to have found that one, as managed to get home and hold off the late challenges of both Motta Maze and also Tarahib, who was back in 3rd place. So that was race number 2. Welcome along if you are just joining us here. Last night of the season, it is here in Riyadh. What are we now? Coming up to just after 9:30 local time, racing through across till midnight local time. Here with 6 more races, and we've got a local bred maiden coming up next. Rory, this is again a big field. The Red Stable have got the favourite as it stands. Mutafef, horse number 3, under Adele, who is on 90 winners at the start of the day. Of course, he is already champion jockey. Nobody's going to catch him. What were you thinking as regards the claims of the favourite in this 3rd race?
I prefer the chances of Mutafef. Yeah, I thought he had plenty going for him. He was well held on debut, but by a pretty above average contender called Min Shan from the White Stable. Min Shan won pretty easily. Mutafef was no match, but beat the rest of them comfortably enough. Was fairly close for second in that race, but they were well spread out in behind. I got the impression from that race that Mutafef was finding that 1200 metres very much on the short side. Steps up to 1600 metres tonight, and that should be very much in his favour. And I thought with normal improvement, he'd be pretty hard to beat. I wouldn't make too much of a fuss about the draw again. First 2 in the last race also drawn in double figures. Yeah. But Mutafef looks a solid favourite.
Okay, that's 3 on the card, but here's the 4 list of runners and riders with Alex.
Many thanks, Darryl. Let's have a look at the field then for race 3. The 1600 metres is the trip. The 1 is Ajar, the mount of Tariq Al Mansour. The 2 is Arab Al Majd, Abdulaziz Al Faradi. The 3, Mutafef, Adel Al Faradi. The 4 is Akho Jaddu, Norwef Al Mudiani. The 5, Al Komdan, that's Mohammed Al Hubayl. Number 6 on the card, Ashday Al Dareya, that'll be the mount of Ayad Al Turisi. We will find the 7 next, and that's Dreamer, Khalid Al Azani. The 8 is Istabid, that's Luis Morales. The 10 is the next one because the 9's out. So that 10, Makazar, Mohammed Al Yami. The 11 is Najm Al Jazi, so just be careful with those 2, Abdullah Al Udib. And the 13 is Kayed Al Morkib, Rut Al Hijaz, Abdullah Al Credis. The 15, Saif Al Alaya, Camilo Ospina.
Yeah, I think we've just lost Alex for a moment there. He was taking you through the runners and riders down there at the bottom. Then is Shakra Alamid, number 20 on the card under Tharb Altimiat. These are the pictures coming from the parade ring then as we wait for the jockeys. They're just coming into shot now as well. So top of the market, Mutafef is the favourite, the 3 at 2-1. 5, Al Commandant, 11-4. That's number 5, as I say, on the race card. And then it is 7-1 about Shibble Rumour, number 16, and 8-1 is Kazarat Al Hijaz, horse 14. As connections arrive in the centre of the parade ring as well. So 3-year-olds. So we're talking sort of mid-50s top rated, Rory, here, although there's a few newcomers and plenty here that haven't got a rating, not had enough races.
Yeah, Mutafef being the obvious one of those. Don't obviously the horse that beat it on debut, it probably hasn't got a rating yet either. But a few of those in behind who are beaten will, and you can kind of you can extrapolate a little bit. Yeah. But I'd have thought Mutafef would be worth a rating in the mid-50s on that debut. But again, I think the key is stepping up from 1200 to 1600 metres should bring further improvement. There weren't that many you can consider seriously. Obviously, there are 1 or 2 with bits and pieces of form that give them chances, but not many have a positive profile. A few have thrown in good runs and then sort of flattened out next time or run disappointingly. So you've got to be slightly forgiving in giving a few of these chances. And we'll see what Callum thinks of them in the parade.
Yeah, we need eyes on the ground, don't we? Like we've got from Callum.
Thank you very much, gents. We're actually just walking behind the studio now. It's If you turned around, you could give me a wave. There you go, Daryl. That's what I wanted. Let's focus on Mutafef here. This is horse number 3. And you can see why Rory has said this horse stepping up to a mile makes sense. Well, it makes sense when you look at him. You look at him as well. He doesn't look like a 1,200-metre horse. He is gorgeous, though. Absolutely robust chestnut with a nice walk as well. Covers the ground well. You know, imagine, he's just his near hind, would I just say swings out a little bit. That would be my only concern with him. But you can get a lovely look at his belly here. He's a very well put together type. It's a shame we've only seen him once before, really, because he's one I'd love to get behind going forward, and hopefully they'll have some fun with him next season. But yes, if you like the favourite, no negatives in the parade ring for me. Let's go to the 5 here, another one who I like, Alcomdam. Liver chestnut here, a little bit darker, not as much an attractive face as we saw in the previous type, but a one who looks really, really fit and ready to go. Has had the 4 starts already. This is start number 5. Shining up well in the coat, has these cheek pieces on. We've seen cheek pieces make a difference to a few horses this season, so don't you think it as a negative. Sometimes it can just spark out a little bit of improvement for connections. This one will be partnered by Mohammed Al Habail, who is looking for a quick fire double. Ooh, sorry, let's go back to the 7. Dreamer comes towards me now with the cobbed mane. Nice enough type here. I thought this was the best of a pretty mediocre bunch, to be honest. It was hard to find some paddock pleasers. Normally, Dreamer would pass me by, but you've got to admit, looks incredibly fit, really tight and well in the middle. Got a cobbed mane, I wouldn't be too bothered about that, and has a blue noseband, so will not be hard to spot. Isn't the best of movers. You can just see a little bit staccato in the hind legs, not really marching out the way you'd like to, but you have to give it some credit. The groom is just holding him back a little bit. So Dreamer, maybe just a 50-50 for me. There's 2 more I want to have a peep at. They are 14 and 15. The 14 is certainly one we have to talk about. Kasoret Al Hijaz, well fancied on the international market, and you can see why. He was a very good performer on debut. Hasn't quite found that same level of form in 2 starts since then, but looks in really great shape, and hopefully can run a big race. He's a gelding here, and I'm always a big fan of these horses that get gelded nice and early here in Saudi Arabia, and hopefully he can take a few steps forward from here. He's a big raw type, and hopefully he can go well today. And finally, I thought the 15, Saif Alalia, is the other one that we needed to give a mention to. A bit roach back, as you can just see his back end. He's got that roach back, but he's got Camille Ospina on board, which is a positive. He looks really well in the coat. My only other issue would be that maybe he doesn't look to me like a typical miler. He looks like a horse who wants to go over the shorter trip. But to cut a very long story short, guys, I'm going to be with the favourite here. The paddock pick is the 3.
Yeah, no, having to weigh it up. Callum is straight in there with Mutafef, who is the market leader. And we will have a look at Mutafef in a moment as well, because the VT is worth a viewing as we watch the jockeys step up here for this 3rd contest. We are going 1,600 metres. Hi to El Apprendi to Jockey, who says, hello, Saudi Arabia. Hello to you, and thank you very much for getting in contact. And if you're just joining us on the programme, please do the same. We'd love to know what draws you to the programme tonight, where you're watching from, who do you like in this race, or indeed any of the later contests. Right, they're leaving the parade ring. So, yeah, solid favourite, this Mutafef. Gets Callum's vote. Sounds like it may get your vote, Rory, as well. And here is the VT from last time with a stack of these. I think I counted 5 of these further down the field who are running in today.
Yeah, Minshan's already out in front and has put the race to bed, but Mutafef does good late work to grab second. The field are pretty well stretched out in behind, and as I said, you know, Mutafef could never really live with the winner, and it doesn't really show a turn of foot, but just keeps galloping in behind to grab second place. And I thought everything about this suggests that a stiffer test is going to suit. Could have gone 1,400 in between times, but obviously we're running out of opportunities here, so up to 1,600, which should suit on pedigree for this son of Mucho Gusto. And he'll be hard to beat. This is Shibble Ruma. I thought showed a slightly awkward head carriage here, but ran his best race to be 3rd last time out. My concern with this again is that the winner of this, Milton, finished dead last here yesterday.
Yes.
In an open race, it has to be said, but it suggested this form isn't particularly strong. And although Shibble Ruma ran on well to force a photo for second, I'm not sure that he's worth that rating of 57.
Yeah, I'm kind of sort of like, you know, I could be persuaded. I think there's a lot of bad form here, and there's a lot of horses we just don't know enough about. I mean, I thought that was an okay run. Probably ran to the sort of mark of what is it, 57, I think. But I just wonder whether that Mutafef form looks a bit stronger with the winner, particularly maybe raising it up a little bit. I gave 5 Al Commandant a little bit of a squeak as well on the handicap run back in January. It's had 4 goes so far, but rated 56. But you know, I thought there was a lot of. I mean, it's hard to say deadwood because horses haven't had the chance to do that, but there's a lot need to convince us.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, I described it as threadbare when I was giving one a chance. Further down the card. Yeah, the 14 I said had placed claims in what I thought was a threadbare contest. That's Kasurat Al Hijaz, who Callum had a nice word for in the paddock. You know, that hasn't really improved since debut. Was runner up first time up in an ordinary event. Wasn't disgraced last time out. And normally you'd pass it over in a maiden race, but I thought you had to consider it in a race like this because there's not an awful lot you like underneath it, really.
No, that is the problem. Is there anything happening in the market to give us any clues? I get the feeling this might be a fairly static market, and I'd be right to say that. So Mutafef remains 2-1, 5. Al Commandant 11-4, Shibble Room of 16 at 7s. Kassarat Al Hijaz, the 14 horse, is on 8-1. That was 5th in a maiden last time, and 10-1. Bar those. I mean, there's a few newcomers as well, Rory, but none of those seem to be particularly attracting any support either. So I think, you know, that you almost want something to spring in the market, but it's probably not going to happen.
No, it doesn't really look like it. That doesn't necessarily mean there isn't one that could surprise us in the field. But I struggled to find any that were massively eye-catching on paper, or indeed from the VT that we've seen. So, given the likes of Shibble Ruma is probably what third favourite there, I thought Mutafef was very hard to oppose at 2-1.
Yeah, I must admit I'm seeing it the same way. Mutafef, if you're looking for a play, seems to offer the most solid credentials. Adel Al Faradi, of course, will ride for Sami Al Harabi in the colours of Prince Faisal here, the red stable team. They started down 148. I mean, 150 is a nice target to reach, and I think we'd all be surprised and disappointed if they don't get to 150.
I think they should do, yes. Obviously we've got multiple points available on board, and they've got a very strong hand. So
yeah.
150 looks very reasonable.
Right, selection-wise, I think we're all on the jolly here, aren't we?
Yeah, number 3, I think, for all of us.
Yeah, and I think Callum was thinking that as well, weren't you, Callum?
I was indeed, Daryl. I am going to join you. Triple kiss of death for the first time this evening. Mutafef with the paddock pick. And I must admit, weren't too many to get too excited about in the paddock in this one. I did mean to give a shout out to Arab Al-Maj, the 2, another one who looked quite well, but just a little bit more, I'd say, immature compared to the 3. The 5 was another one that I really like the look of. That goes for Mohammed Al Hubail, who'll be looking for a second win as well. Always telling me how good his English is getting every time we have a quick catch up. So hopefully next season he'll be another one we can add to the interview list, which will be great. Dreamer looks really, really fit. That was the 7. Nice tight frame, well muscled individual. And then in behind we had a couple of the others, the 14 and the 15. If I had to pick between the 2 of them, I'd probably side with the 14. That draw out in 20 would be a concern for me though. But in a race like this, maybe there's going to be a lack of ability towards the middle, so you might be able to get across quite easily from that wide draw. There could be a lack of depth in this race, I have the feeling. Couple of the debutants, no real eye catchers there. Najim Al-Jazi, who makes debut today, didn't quite blow me away at all. I'm happy to look elsewhere on that one. Shibble Ruma, that horse looked okay. The grey that was just came 3rd last time out. Not a paddock negative at all. In fact, there were no real paddock negatives. Most of them were positive, and most of them had done pretty well in the prelim. The only drama we've had so far in the parade ring within our first race, and one of the horses that caused the drama went and won, so you probably don't really need me down in the paddock anymore, but we'll look forward to trying to find some more success. Yageek Al Elm is a nice grey as well. We saw that one going down to the stables this afternoon. A bit small, really, just a bit small and light type. It's a horse we've seen plenty of, Yageek Al Elm, making the 11th career start today, but just doesn't blow me away in the prelims at all, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this 1 mile contest goes. It'll be fascinating to see how this race is run, because there might not be enough quality in this field to give us a strong pace, which makes you think Mutafef under Adel Al-Faradi will be given every opportunity to try and make every post a winning one, to be perfectly honest. He's just going round and shot here looking like an absolute lamb, which is exactly what you want to see down at the start. I know some people like to see a horse a little bit jig-joggy in the prelims, but for me, I want them to be really relaxed down at the gate. I want them to get revved up when they get in the gate, but before that, I just feel like a more relaxed horse is a nice thing to see. We knew that Mr. Alex Fussy hasn't been paying his electricity bills. Alex, have you put some money in the meter?
Kind of troubles at the moment. It's a bit hit and miss, so we'll see how this goes. We'll try our very best for everyone. Last few to take their place here. Yageek Al Elm is just going in. Akhu Jaddu. Saif Al Alaya is still to go in. There's a couple. We are very in and out, intermittent with the link at the moment, so we will try our best to bring you what we can. As the final runners take their place, Najim Al-Jazi has just gone in. In fact, just back to away, that runner. Rest of the runners are in the gates. A couple of them in the middle getting a bit het up. Last push required out wide. We are set for action. Let's hope we can bring you some. Rearing in 15. Settled now. Long hold this time. Yageek Al Elm was the one requiring extra attentions. Flags back up, so I think we're ready. They're off. Jumped away. They race here in the local bred Maiden, 1,600 metres in front of them. Shibble Ruma got a very sluggish start, and also not a good start for Makazar, who's completely adrift at the back of the field. Those two will have a mountain to climb. A decent beginning for Istabid, who's going to be one of the first to get going. Dreamer also bang up there, and crossing over is Kasurat Al-Hijaz, who's going to come through and force proceedings as well. Not too far from the pace is Mutafef, who's down there in the red-coloured jacket, just hunting up the leading wave. Kayad Al-Makeb is getting going just in behind them as they work their way towards the left-handed turn. Al-Komdan is hunting up the leading line as well, so they're about to go in to the bend. Kasura Al-Hijaz in front, but just drifting off the inner, lugging away from the inside, and that'll leave a bit of a gap for others. Dreamer and Istabid continue to follow. Also, Kayed Al-Makeb is on the outside getting into the action, and Al-Mokdan is coming with them as well on the wide outside. Backpedaling now, Mutafef is not playing a part, starting to weaken out of proceedings. There's not many really coming from the tail. It's Dreamer on the turn for home, coming towards the top of the straight. 3 lengths is the advantage. Al-Komdan has now moved into second. Still running around is Kasurat Al-Hijaz, who's been very green on this journey. Arab Al-Majd is the one to start coming from the tail of the field. 200 to go. Dreamer's in front, but paddling. Could be a grandstand finish. Dreamer being joined now. Al-Komdan still running on is Arab Al-Majd. As they go close to home, it's Al-Komdan who's got to the lead and is going to win it. Al-Komdan has beaten Kasurat Al-Hijaz, who ran quite an odd race. Then in third was Arab Al-Majd, and Dreamer run out of it late on. Al-Komdan has gone on to win. The 5-horse taking it for Mohammed Al-Hubail. And that's a double up for Al-Hubail as well. So a very good start to the evening's proceedings for him. Stopping the clock in 1:43.05. Second, Kasurat Al-Hijaz, who's run a solid race, but was up there, looked green, drifted off the inside, passed and rallied. So I think plenty will be learnt from this experience again. Had 3 previous runs. Arab Al Majd plugging on, the only one to come from a backwards position. A Dreamer who'd set sail for home but became leg weary, eventually in 4th. Order of finish for race 3, 5, 14, 2 and 7.
So it is a nice double, is it, for Mohammed Al Hubal, who won the previous race on a 40-1 outside. He's won this one on the 11-4 second favourite. Al Commandant beat number 14, Kassarat Al Hijaz, who has been returned at 8-1. Arab Al Majd, number 2, was third at a big price. And for a while, it looked like Dreamer might beat them all at a huge price. Let's get back to Callum.
Yeah, thanks very much, gents. Look, he doesn't look like a miler. Saw him in the parade ring and said he looked a little bit short, a little bit stocky, a little bit more of a sprinting type, but my goodness, did he see it out well. Al Mokdan has won this contest. We thought the cheap pieces might sprite a bit of improvement as well, and that's very good to see. Lovely to see that this horse has gone and done the business on this occasion. And in a really fascinating race, the eventual second, Kassarat Al Hijaz, has run in snatches. The third, Amirat Al Majd, finished late. Dreamer looked the winner as they turned off the turn for home, and your eventual favourite, Mutafef, has gone no race at all, was well beaten a long way from home. It's clearly something amiss on that one, but nothing amiss with Mohammed Al Hubal, who lands a very quick-fire double. We said he was dangerous, and he certainly is.
Yeah, let's have a look back at this in a second. There is Mohammed then looks for, well, he'll be looking for a third winner, won't he? And he's in the blue colours. He's spinning around the outside in the closing stages here, Rory. Looked for a while that Dreamer in the blue, still in front, might pull off a huge, huge surprise.
Yeah, Dreamer had shown absolutely nothing to date, had a rating of 27, and yet he had them all off the bridle. Turning for home, he just ran out of gas in the last 150 metres and ended up fading back into 4th, but he's on a big race, just interfering slightly with Kassarat Al Hijaz as he drifts to the centre of the track, almost into the path of Al Commandant, who was the second favourite here. He had pretty solid chances on his 2 recent efforts, and he's built on those, with Mutafef not building at all on that debut and dropping out from quite an early stage. Got into good position, was sort of tracking the leaders in about 3rd or 4th place, and you thought everything looks good from here, but before push came to shove, Mutafef engaged reverse gear, I'm afraid, and that was that. A couple of these missed the break earlier on. Makassar, number 10, missed the break, and Shibble Ruma, who was one of the fancies, blew it quite badly at the start, and that was his chance out the window, effectively.
Yeah, Kassarat Al Hijaz is one of those pace setters, as you say. Their Dreamer's pretty handy as well in the early throws of this contest, and the winner is in the blue stays, the white and red colours. You know, handy enough, keeping deep on the race course.
Yeah, just biding his time. Reckon there's a bit of cheap speed. The leader here rather doesn't handle the bend particularly well. You can see that his jockey keeps having to pull him in to stop him blowing that, and he loses his position as a result. but then runs on again into a place. So he's capable of better if he can keep straight. Istapid just weakening on the rail in about 6th place on the inside, the grey and orange colours. Now Dreamer goes on. You think suddenly he might have a big winning chance, because he's quickly gone 2.5 lengths clear. But Al Commandant settles down to battle it out, and Dreamer, when he did show a brief turn of foot there to get himself clear, he just paddles a little bit. He can't maintain that surge, and you can tell he's in trouble here, even though he's still a length in front. He's got absolutely nothing left for the finish, and you know that if anything gets to him, he's not going to be able to battle back. That's exactly what happens. Al Commandant comes past him, and then Arab Al-Majd,
who's made up a lot of ground, actually.
Also runs on into the places late in the day. That wasn't a bad run for that one. 53 rated. Abdulaziz Alpha Radio on board.
Yes, had 9 goes, and was actually in the VT form clip behind the disappointing Mutafef that we showed you a little bit earlier on. So that is 3 races down, and the second favourite does well, but I'm afraid if you're with us on the favourite, it was never happening on that occasion. So the last day of the season here in Riyadh. If you're just joining us on the English-speaking YouTube service tonight, we've got 5 more races, 3 championship races to come later. We're going to move into handicap company. I've kind of I always sort of got mixed feelings about the handicap story, because I like them. It's like trying to attack a handicap as you would anywhere else, but they're really tough handicaps. There's not a big weight range between them. I think we're looking at maybe 6 or 8 pounds in this particular group. Top mark is 85. We've got 2 off the top here, off the 85, and who was favourite? I've lost my page as regards favourite. I think number 3. I will tell you about number 3. Al Mosalhema, who's been very well backed actually, was 8-1 at one stage, into 9-2, and the other one they've backed is Monchoir, who was 14-9, and actually that 3, Al Mosalhema, is the favourite actually at 9-2, so it is so open.
Yeah.
How are you seeing that favourite?
Absolutely no surprise to see money for him. I think it should have been a pretty short one. Again, I think horses are being priced up as if wide draws are against them, and yet we've seen every race so far wide draws. And not necessarily the widest draws, but
no.
Double-figure draws have hit 3 of the first 4 places in 2 of our 3 races so far. So the draw in stall 14 for Al Mosalhema is not a negative. That run last time out is eminently forgivable, and prior to that he'd been had been in very good form, winning at this level over 1,800 metres in December and finishing a good second in a not to 85 in January over 2,000 metres. This is probably a sort of minimum trip for Al Mosalhema, but it's a workable trip for her, and she's one of the leading contenders in this race. Monchoir's harder to fancy, but he's Jimmy Jurgens' last go outside.
I like Monchoir.
Outside of the big race here, and Monchoir does have the form going back to win this contest. Was 3rd to Dahi over course and distance in September, and a repeat of that would see him go very close here. The handicapper has given him a chance after a few subpar runs. He's a little bit hard to call at the moment, but the fact that Jimmy relies on him and the supporting car today may be a sign that he's ready to fire again. But Jimmy will be very straight with us about that and tell us exactly what he thinks when Callum speaks to him.
He certainly will. Yeah, I thought quite well handicapped on a mark of 83. Was running in the mid-90s not that long ago, and I'm not surprised that there was a bit of money, because I think 14s was probably too big, into 9s. Second favourites, there are 3 of them at the moment, just for the record. They are horses 11 Swift Victory, also 14 Manciatadoro, and the 16 Neymar Al Motara. They are all on 7-1, so it just tells you how very, very trappy this race is. Right, Alex is going to call the winner in amongst this full rundown now of the field for race number 4.
Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, let's have a look at the field for you in this handicap then. 0 to 85, the grade. The 1 is Fulham, the mount of Abdulaziz Al Musa. The 2, Thalik Abdullah Al Saidi. The 3, Al Mosalhema Abdullah Al Farouz. No 4, that's a non-runner. So next is the 5, Walter Hartright, Luis Morales. 6, Inspiritus, Thab Al Timiat. 7, Monchoir Osama Al Sharani. The 8 will be next, and that is War in Heaven, Mohammed Al Gharib. The 9 is Moad with Berto Ramos. 10, Saeed Mohammed Al Nasser. 11, Swift Victory, Asil Al Shahani. The 12, Craft in Silk, Abdullah Al Lawfi. 13 is Faret Mohammed Al Daham. 14 is Manciatadoro, Salman Al Rashid. 15 is Mr. Raj Naif Al Anazi. 16 is Nema Al Mokhtara, Abdel Al Furedi. 17 is Al Sharid, Norwef Al Mudiani. 18, Nakesh, Mohammed Al Hubail. And the 19 there, Varden, Abdelaziz Al Furedi. No 20, that's an absentee. So we've got 21, Yes More Rich, that is Rakan Al Ubaid. And the 22, City Street gets a go as well. Mohammed Al Yami is charged with ridings. Runners in the paddock, and Callum has got his eyes on the favourite.
Thank you very much, Alex. Yes, I've got my eyes on Al Mosalema. She really has just grown up in front of our eyes this season. A very sort of quiet start to things, and she just sort of took off, and she literally has physically improved as time's gone on. I know Rory was a big supporter of her early in the season, and she rewarded that support with a few victories. She's won twice, she's been placed in some really good races. Your only concern is this going to be one run too many. She looks to be handling herself well enough in the parade ring. She's walking around with a bit of gusto as well. I'm intrigued to see how she gets on in this contest. Let's drop our way back to the 5 Water Hearts, right? The first of a couple of runners for the Red Stable in this contest. Very different build here, much more compact, good strong back end, a little bit weak in the neck and not really much going on in the front half, but a nice shoulder. Still got to have some time since coming over here, really willing to forgive the last couple of runs. Let's drop our way back. Monchoir is the next one. I much prefer this of the Red Stable runners. I think Monchoir looks in really good shape here. An 8-year-old now, still entire, bless him. I'm sure he's got his mind on other aspects, but he looks gorgeous, doesn't he? Really well turned out. Lovely individual, walking around like an actual school pony. No problems with him at all, handling everything well. You'd like him to be taking a bit more of a grip, but Osama Al-Shahani on board will certainly give him a big ride, and takes off a very valuable 2 kilos. In fact, will he be able to claim in this race? Yes, he will, and he's still able to use that claim in this contest. Let's go back to the 10. This is the next one we're going to take a peep at. This is Saeed, comes towards us now. A really good winner earlier on this season, but struggled in the last few starts. Looks really well in the prelims today, though, I must admit, really captured the eye. Shining in the coat, I would say the best looker in the field so far. Mohamed Al Nasser on board, he takes off 2 as well. Now, in behind is Swift Victory, a horse who I really liked earlier on in the season, and I really liked him last time out, but really disappointing, and makes a quick turnaround today. Is still carrying a bit of condition, but I wouldn't let that put you off. He's been busy this season. He'll certainly be fit, but could he be another one of Sammer's that might just be a little bit over the top? Getting a little bit of a cue here as Roberto gets his saddle adjusted. Let's go on through them. We're going to look at the 14 is the next one, Mancetia Doro. For me, looks a little bit woolly, this one, shining up in the coat, but clearly in the winter coat. It's trending in the right direction, showing some decent form at the moment, finishing in the top 3 in each of the last 2 starts. But for me, I couldn't go for a horse that's still definitely holding that winter coat and now having a bit of a tantrum. Just give him a bit of a kick. Oh, steady on, steady. Good lad on the outside there. That was pretty poor there. The 14 just getting a bit of a shock there. Everyone is safe and sound, but again, that would be a negative for me in the parade ring. You've now got Naif Al-Anazi asking just to go around Mustafa, just mind your back, and that's the 15 just in behind. The 16 is the last one we'll peek at. Nema Al Mokhtara handling things much better, and obviously Adel Al Faredi on board. Bit of drama here in the parade ring team, and I'm going to be sticking with the 10, Saeed.
Yes, Side is a nice, tasty price if you're listening and taking on board what Callum has to offer here today, around a 25 to 1 chance. Market really interesting again. I mentioned, Rory, the money that came for horse number 3, Al Mo Salema, earlier on, from 8 into 9 to 2. There's now been a move on Mancetia Doro, who is the 14, who I think is really solid and really consistent. 7 to 1, smashed into 9 to 2. So they are now joint market leaders.
Yeah, I have a feeling Mancetia Doro was my selection here. Was my selection ahead of the 15, but that's the one that was misbehaving in the parade ring, and Callum gave it a negative. Said it was still in its winter coat, and then being a little bit mulish. In the
well, they are the 2 VT horses, funnily enough.
Yeah.
So we see those in a moment. We'll get to see Mancetia Doro.
I mean, yeah, the last 2 runs have been eye-catching from Mancetia Doro. Came from a fair way off the pace to be placed last time out. Prior to that, was second to Red Kite, in a not too 80 handicap. But we'll see both of them now. That's Al Mosalema in glorious slow motion there. That means we're going to be seeing her in action now, and she runs a solid race to be fourth here. This is her penultimate start when.
Yeah, this is a cup race, isn't it?
Yeah, when fourth to off the map in a good cup competition. No match for the placed horses here, but coming well clear of the others who are a talented enough bunch in behind. So finishing off strongly as well. I would say disappointing last time out, but not really. In a really tough race again. The winner of the race she was in last time out runs in our finale, and is quite well fancied for that as well. She's beaten 12 lengths in that stronger cup race last time out. I wouldn't be too worried about that, and she's got solid claims. Certainly the way she went through that race you'd have plenty to like about her based on that. This is Manciato d'Oro now. This comes from a long way off the pace. You'll see with the noseband and the white cap making headway on the outside of the field. Slightly laboured headway, it has to be said, but was really badly placed the way this race went, and then runs on strongly to get into third place in the final 100 metres. Had also caught the eye running on well in race won by Red Kite prior to this, which was a not to 80 handicap. So Manciato d'Oro definitely in decent form at the moment, but just not showing the right signs tonight that he's ready to run for his life.
That's a worry, and that VT was from last Saturday. The previous run was from the Saturday before.
Yeah, this is the third run in 2 weeks essentially, and
yeah.
He's just showing signs that he's thinking, maybe give me a break, lads, which he'll get after this.
It's coming.
But yeah, he was my selection in the first place. I've gone a little bit cold on him now.
Okay, yeah, it's an intriguing race, and so it's an unusual night to see so much market activity. We don't often see quite so many changes. So lively market, and yeah, I like Monchoir. I'm probably going to go with Monchoir, who's still a fair enough price. I think at 9 to 1. If you could make it an each-way selection, I would. That's not the rules of the game, but I do think we'll handicap. But of the others, Rory. So we've talked about the top. Should mention actually a bit of money for Fulham as well. The top one that's shortened up a little bit.
Yeah.
Hasn't run since December.
Yeah, but it has one of a similar break before. And he was a horse I liked quite a lot last season as a juvenile. He hasn't really gone on this season as expected, but it wasn't disgraced last time out. And I thought this is his first time in a handicap, so he's dropping in class, having faced a few fairly stiff challenges. And I thought he had a chance here if ready to go. And given that he went well on debut last season, he also won off an almost identical break last season. I thought he came into the equation. He's a hard one to call because he doesn't look particularly well handicapped in some of the form that he's shown last season, but he's also not really had a chance in this grade. So he could bounce back, but he could also run very moderately. He's not a horse that I can be confident about how he's going to run. But as I said, I liked him last season. He's just been overfaced a little bit since, and horses like that tend to need a little bit of confidence boosting, and hopefully he's had that coming into this. But I wouldn't be absolutely certain. But he was on my short list of 4. It could easily have been a short list of 8 or 9 in this race, though.
Okay, just mentioned a bit of late money for Mr. Raj as well, 8 to 7. So lots happening in the international betting market selection-wise. I'm going to take Monchoir, the 7 here, and hope that Jimmy can show us another bit of magic on his final day.
Yeah, Mr. Raj was another one that I had. Well, he was also, I think, second in my short list for this contest. My only worry with Mr. Raj, he just doesn't win races. He's won from 23 in his career. His form figures read 0-7-0 his last 3 runs, so you wouldn't think that he'd be a short priced in this race. But he has kept good company. He ran in a cup contest last time out and ran respectably. That was the North America Cup. It was his first run after a break as well. I thought he'd come on for that and be competitive here. He's the kind of horse I'd like to have in as a, but
he's not going to be the choice, is he? He can't be the choice. So, or is he? Which one?
I don't know. If I'm not going for him, I'm going for Al Mosalema. So actually, okay. I will go for Mr. Raj.
You're going to go for Mr. Raj?
And if he comes second, I'll count it as a bonus.
Yeah, I think we both think our selections, which are 7 and 15, could place, if not win. Callum.
I'm trying to find winners here, team. Let's try and find some. Saeed is going to be the pick for me. Bolted up in an open over course and distance a few starts ago. That was back in December. Has been really given some tough tasks since then over different trips as well and on different surfaces. Had a spin on the turf that went as well as you can imagine. Those who are following Mohammed Al Habail, you've been in clover at the moment with a couple of winners so far this evening. He partners Nakesh, who I think might be a bit of a handicap plot here. Looked really well in the prelims, 18, one of the horses we didn't get a chance to look at because of all the carnage going on. I think he could be a bit of a plot. I've only had the 2 starts this season. Last time running over 1,400 metres in the International Jockeys Challenge race. I think he's much, much better than that, and it would be no surprise with the jockey in such good form that Nakesh might run a big race. Did look like he was primed up to try and do a big one, but for me the pick is Saeed, and that is going to be my selection, the 10. Intrigued to see how Swift Victory gets on. That is the 11 in front of you. Mohad, the mount for Wigberto Ramos. You always have to keep an eye on Wigberto's rides because, you know, he's only taking a small book now. Well, that was a winner last time out, and that was in 0 to 80 company, but the trip with only 1,200 metres would need to do better over further today. So I'm sticking with the 10, Alex Sussy. They're loading up nice and quickly. It's over to you.
Thank you, Callum. Yeah, last 4 to go together by the looks of it. Again, apologies if the signal cuts in and out. We're not 100% clear at the moment, but we'll try our best for you. The 18 taking a turn there. Nakesh going to be one of the last in. Swift Victory also to go in. Sil Al Shahani didn't look particularly happy on that runner. Was shouting at the starting team as if wanting to go last. All right, ready for action. Last little push. Handlers clearing up out wide, and they're off and race. Jumped in this handicap, it's a 0 to 85. They'll be racing over 1,600 metres down to the inside. A decent beginning for Saeed, one of the first to get going in company with Moad in the light blue colours, who will bag the running rail. So they become the first pair. Monchoir is wider out on the course. Walter Hartwright is not too far from the speed. Mr. Raj also trying to get involved, hunting up the leading line as they work their way down the back straight. So hard up on the inside is Moad, who's just got the call. Leading here from Monchoir in second, the white cap. They're being followed through, being squeezed along. Walter Hartwright is still back there. Namir Al-Mokhtar very wide on the track as they work their way on the spin towards the top of the home straight. So they're working back towards home. Up on the inside, Moad with the advantage. Bond second on their outside. Varden is trying to improve, and also Swift is getting going from off the pace. That one really starting to pick up. They're turning to the top of the straight, working their way for the final couple of hundred. It's Moad and Monchoir who here. They're followed by Swift Victory and Varden, and then comes Mr. Raj as final 200 metres. Al Mossa Lema is too late on the scene, and it's the running rail finding plenty to the line. It's going to be for Moad. Moad will win. We will confirm second and third in a moment. Looks as though Mr. Raj might have got second over Monchoir, but to the judge that. So victory for number 9. Moad has won, 140 the winning time. Once again, apologies for any breakup. The 9 is your winner. Daraj does get second, the 15 over Monchoir. 9:15, race 4.
Well, it's hard to keep Wiggy out of the winners' enclosure, isn't it? Berto Ramos has done it again. Mo had 9 beats, 15. Mr. Roger did get up for second, bragging rights for the places for Rory over my third, Monchois the 7, and Al Mo Salhima 3 back in fourth. 9.15, 7.3. Here's Callum.
Yeah, he won a 0-80 last time out over 1,200 metres. He steps up in trip today, steps up in class, and never saw another rival. With Berto Ramos guides Moaz to victory here for Nasser Moaz Omar Al Taib, the winning owner as well, which we're very happy to see. And the Wigman has done it once again. He'll be chuffed a bit with that, and they'll be very chuffed with this horse, who never really looked in danger. I thought Monchois was going to be the danger on the outside, knowing that one's got a little bit of stamina to play with, but never were they able to get by. Ended up finishing third behind Mr. Raj. Al-Mosalah was there in fourth place, and then it went down to Saeed, finishing in sixth. But Wigberto is your winning rider, and we'll grab a word with him when he gets weighed in. A man who's been much more selective about his rides at the moment and is being duly rewarded with that patience as well. I think he's just dropped something that'll need to go over. Oh, there's a girth strap. Always make sure you never leave that behind. And we'll hopefully see this victory here. He's going to weigh in. And once he weighs in, we'll be all good. Carrying 60 and a half. Yeah, he's bang on perfect. There's the wiggle, there's the wiggle, there's the wiggle, and a clap as well. We love to see it. Wigberto Ramos, your winning rider. I can't believe no one's picking up the Wigman's saddle. I mean, he's got to do all the work himself. Wigberto, well done.
Thank you, thank you.
Won over a shorter trip last time, but you rode him like you knew he was going to get this trip today.
Yeah, the trainer was concerned because he liked a short distance. But I tell you, last week, he did it so well, and I saw him how he breathing after the race. Hey, they took us out last week, so maybe we get it, and he got it easy. He listened to me, he relaxed. When he relaxed with me, I said, okay, I have to wait for the 300. He did the race.
You had Jimmy Jerkin's horse, Monchois, on your outside, a horse with more proven stamina, but you shook him off with ease.
Yeah. That was just what we talking about?
Yeah, the horse on the outside in the red colours.
I got perfect trip and everything. I got the lead in the last 300. I hear something, they coming after me. And I try to react, and put my head, my whip on the left, but too late. The horse comes so strong.
He's really, really talented. You are having a great season. Will you be here next year?
I hope so.
Good stuff. We hope to see you soon. Well done.
Nice to see you too.
Nice to see you.
I'd love to see the stats as whether you could make a profit just backing Wiggy every time, because he did so many winners. And yeah, stepping up in trip on the front, as Callum was suggesting there, Rory, he obviously felt this horse was going to handle this distance.
Yeah, and he's ridden him positively. He looked a sitting duck at the top of the straight. Monchois, I'm sure you were fairly confident was going to go past, but Monchois rather hits a wall himself 200 metres from home, and can't hold on for second place in the end. It's that old monkey Mr. Raj, who runs on from back in the field to grab second. He's, I knew he was well enough handicapped to win this, but obviously he's 1 from 24 in his career now, but picked up another placing.
He has.
I'll call that a moral victory.
Yeah, you've just bobbed me out of sort of runners-up position here. Let's watch it from the start away, but behind them here. So.
Moda went forward from the start, really from stall 2, was always in the front rank, and Saeed, Callum's pick, quite close to him from stall 4. They were the first two to show. Faret, between them and stall 3, showed a little bit of early speed but couldn't keep up with them. Monchois then moved across from a wide draw. He's drawn in stall 12, but he got across quite well into a stalking position. And then as they settled down, the horses caught the eye to a degree. Widest of all in the orange cap there, Varden threatened. He moved forwards into a stalking position and looked like he might play a big part in the finish, but his runs rather petered out in the end. The eventual second is in the black colours with the white sleeves, in about 7th or 8th place at this moment with the blinkers, not looking entirely keen to run on at this stage, but he does run on strongly in the straight. Walter Hartright is a horse in the white blinkers. He's shown a fair bit of speed. I'm not sure dropping back to this trip was the cleverest idea. He's a horse who didn't settle last time out. Over 2,100 metres on turf. He's a horse with multiple wins over around the 2,400 metres on turf in the UK for Ed Dunlop. You see a jockey loses his reins actually on Walter Hartright, Luis Morales. I would have thought he's a horse they need to teach to settle, so running him gunning him out over 1,600 metres, I'm not sure will actually help that. But what they do with him here, I'm not entirely sure, because he stays very well, and there are limited opportunities for horses to stay beyond a mile and a half on the turf here, and he needs to prove that he handles dirt, and we didn't learn an awful lot about him here.
Yeah, Mohad, dominant display, and once again, Wigberto Ramos gets it right here, and the 9 wins at 8-1. The international prize there beat 15 Mr. Raj. You can see 4 100ths between that horse and Monchoir, the 7 in third place, and Al Musalima, number 3, was back in fourth. So 9, 15, 7 and 3 are the numbers that matter. Hello to MD Haroon, who's joined us, and also Ranjan Sharma, who is saying, what a pick, sirs, congratulations. I mean, we weren't quite on the winner there, but maybe had a sneaky little play on the places, possibly.
Maybe he and I the winner needs to have the tricast, because we have the second and third.
Well, I mean, sometimes we just offer our assistance, maybe with your own selections. You're probably right, Rob. I hope so, because that would be a lovely little tricast to have with the second and third horses in behind the winner. So we're going to stick with Handicap Company. We've got local bred handicap coming up here, 0 to 70. Although this group do go down to the high 40s. There's quite a split between top and bottom. However, before we do any thinking about race 5, we need to find our Callum.
Mo! Yes, guys, really looking forward to wrapping up the season here at King Abdulaziz Racecourse. We just thought I'd come up to the balcony just alongside the club rooms, one of my favourite parts of this racecourse. Just to my left, you can see the club rooms are on the inside here, a buffet meal, a full-on restaurant set up, and huge amounts of hospitality on display, which is always just so wonderful to have on the racecourse. And then when you're finished enjoying your meal, you can come out and admire this beautiful racecourse as well. And this balcony stretches all the way along this stunning view of this course. Now, for me personally, I've had many highlights this season, but for me, the Saudi Cup was obviously an incredible race. Forever Young was an absolute superstar on that one, and Romantic Warrior, what a performance as well. I mean, James McDonald will be kicking himself having to go so far wide on the bend, but in the end, he's just been reeled in by Forever Young, who looks like a hugely exciting horse for the future. We also saw a couple of Breeders' Cup win-and-you're-in races as well. So Straight No Chaser absolutely blitzed his way along this dirt track for Dan Blacker as well. And Dan Blacker was a really interesting character to have here. He talked about how well he found the whole experience, how wonderful he found the dinner under the stars and all the build-up to the Saudi Cup and the race itself and how fluid it was. And it was just wonderful to kind of see the part of the racecourse that we've been involved in for a couple of years now really beginning to get seen by other viewers as well, which is always just so nice to see at a racecourse such as King Abdulaziz. And it's been a very good season so far. We've very much enjoyed ourselves this year. There's been so much more to learn. I feel like we've learned more about purebred Arabian racing than I've ever done before, and we've really got into that. Those 3-year-old and 4-year-old only races have been a personal highlight to me. I've really enjoyed seeing some of the stars of the future. We've got to thank our colleagues at the Arabic channel as well for all the help they've given us with these purebred Arabians, because there's just so much to learn, whether it's pedigrees or anything else for that matter. So we'll be really looking forward to seeing those horses next season, because just like the juvenile horses, we'll see the juvenile purebred Arabians get nice and older. Now, we know we have another race coming up on our heels, because we don't stop here in Saudi Arabia. It's race after race after race, and Alex Fussy can take us through the runners and riders who will be coming into the parade ring behind me now.
I can indeed, Callum. Let's have a look at the field for you then for race 5, a 0 to 70 handicap over 1,800 metres. Number 1 is Mu'aniz Tariq Al Mansour. 2, same ownership, Ibn Al Reed Mohammed Al Dahan. 3, Mozart Abdullah Al Saidi, and the 4 is Khalidu Thab Al Timyat. Number 5, Ablik Mohammed Al Hubayl. The 6 is Al Mitaib Sweet Fahad Al Faradi. We'll flip over the page and find the 7, Smith Kana Abdullah Al Credis. The 8 is Asma Wagali Wigberto Ramos. The 9, Akko Fawa Norwef Al Farouz. 10 is Amin Al Anaya Ayad Al Turisi. The 11 is Iait Madia Rakan Al Ubayd. And the 12, Kawaliz Khalid Al Azmi. We go to the 13, Expo Al Riyadh Osama Al Sharani. The 14 is Shadow for Luis Morales. 15 is Bayrak Al Jabriya, Mohammed Al Yami. 16 is Intilak, Abdullah Al Khamis. 17, Fiery Aru, Mohammed Al Nasser. And 18 is Fal Al Shimal, Rayan Al Turaish. The final pair, 19, Al Dazi, Abdullah Al Hussein. And the 20, Saudi Victori, Mohammed Al Habib. That is our field of 20 prior to race 5 as we go back to the studio.
And many thanks to Alex, calling them home for us today. So race 5 on the way. First the runners arriving in the parade. In fact, most of them are there by the looks of things. Now another competitive race. You won't be surprised to hear this handicap. Ibn Al Reeb, the 2-horse, just favoured at 4-1. 1 Muaniz is a 5-1 chance, along with number 6 Al Mitaib Sweet, and then we've got 7-1 about 14 Shadow and 8-1 bar those. And a quiet betting heat this, actually, unlike the others, which have been very lively so far. So the top of the handicap with 2 of the market leaders, Rory, in horses 1 and 2.
Yeah, the pair of them appear to have pretty solid claims. Muaniz fared best of these, who ran behind Kul Al Shukr last time out in maiden company over 1,800 metres. I think the winner is quite useful. A white stable runner, came with a good reputation. Runs over course and distance again. Muaniz.
Shall we have a look at that, actually?
Let's have a look.
Yeah, because there's a good piece of form, isn't it, as you say, from just a few days ago, the 6th of March.
Yeah, obviously the question with horses running in these races is how well they'll be able to bounce out again. That turned out fairly quickly, but Muaniz is easily best of the rest, behind Kul Al Shukr. This wouldn't have been a bad race of its time. Not an awful lot of depth to it, but as I said, the winner looks like he's above average, and Muaniz was back to his best form in chasing him home, several lengths clear of the others. You'd have to say would have to have a good chance with a repetition of that. Yeah,
a couple of them clashed, didn't they, here? This is Ibn Al Reeb and Al Mitaib Sweet. They're going to be third and fourth in this run.
Yeah, this was a race won by Falat Care. Again, a white stable runner and a horse that we've seen plenty of this season, who's pretty useful. And I thought these two did pretty well to fill the places, with Ibn Al Reeb faring just the better. But it was very, very tight between them. Al Mitaib Sweet looked like he might come past on the outside, but it ends up being on the nod, and Ibn Al Reeb holds it. But very hard to pick between that pair again.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the form, looking at the revised marks, I mean, you know, they're almost one and the same, those two horses. You pointed out something to me which I'd missed earlier, which is, of course, that we've got horses running out of the handicap in this race, because there's a ceiling bottom weight here. So how far down are we going before they're coming?
Yeah, the handicaps here, top weight's always 62 kilos, bottom weight's 54. So you've got a range of, as we would like to say, 16 pounds or 8 kilos. Yeah. So everything from number 14, Shadow downwards, are out of the handicap. Not by huge amounts. He's a pound out. Nick's down is 2 pounds. Intellect also 2 pounds down. Fiery Aru, 3 pounds out of the handicap.
But if you're beaten a few lengths, it could make all the difference.
It can make all the difference. Saudi Victory, 6 pounds wrong. Al Darazi, 6 pounds wrong as well. So it's not impossible to win from out of the handicap, but it does make your task that much harder.
Do we focus, though, Callum, on the top of the handicap, I wonder, bearing that in mind?
Well, guys, I've only just made it back down from the restaurant. We had a lovely time up there, checking out the balcony, and I wanted to focus on the two Prince Sal bin Salman bin Abdulaziz runners, because they are both looking so well in the prelim. They are both at the top of the handicap, and they are both by commissioner. The first one is Muaniz. Really nice type here, well-muscled individual, walking out well as well. He's got a nice enough walk. He's a little bit loose on his off hind. That would be my only concern. He sort of swings it out a little bit. That would be my issue, but he looks fit enough. He reminds me an awful lot of the horse we saw earlier on in those blue and yellow colours. He looked like the winner from a long way from home, but ended up getting tired late on. Hopefully this horse Muaniz fares a little bit better. Tariq Al-Mansour in the saddle with a good jockey booking as well. He's been in fine form towards the end of this season. Ibn Al Reeb is the next one. I love this horse. I think he's absolutely gorgeous. He's rated 68. I think he's better than that rating. He bounced back to form with a good third last time in a tough race into handicap company today. I think he's absolutely drop dead gorgeous, really striking individual. Typical soft spot for me, the grey, I like him. He's well proportioned despite having a bit of size to him as well. He'll only get better when he gets older, and hopefully this won't be one run too many. We'll just see Mozart and Kalido. Who's the 5 here? Oblique coming towards us now in the Colgate Silks. One win from the 8 starts. Looks really well though, doesn't he? I mean, he's a good looking type. He's a little bit roached back in the back end here. The jockey Mohammed Al Habail is looking for the hat trick as well on him, so he'll be intrigued to get on board. Didn't quite go for the plan with Nikesh last time in the last contest, could never really get into the race, but she's a really nice type. She's a bit narrower than the ones we've seen already, and I think she's got a big frame to grow into. But aside from that, aside being a bit jig-joggy, she certainly looks very, very well in her coat. Last one we'll just take a quick peek at is Smith Kana. The owners had Messamia in running yesterday, who ran a big race. They'll be hoping that Smith Kana can go one place better, although that one is just getting a little bit on her toes as well. So if I was looking at any of them, I'd be going Ibn Al Reeb in this race. Absolute soft spot pony.
Yeah, off a mark of 68 is Ibn Al Reeb, the 4-1 favourite as things stand. No change to the top end of the market here. So we got to see the horse at the top of the handicap with good reason as well. We showed them on the VT. I mean, are they the horses we need to be looking at, do you think?
Obviously, you can consider some others. It's worth pointing out that the one that wasn't picked out there, Shadow, was third in that race that Kula Shukr won, in which Muniz was second. And he's actually, despite being a pound out of the handicap, he's actually waited to turn the tables if you could trust him to run the same form again. I did think, however, that Muniz was clear second best on the day. He was 4 lengths clear of the third. There is a turnaround in the weights there, which might tempt you to be with Shadow. I must say, I'm pretty much with Callum. I think Ibn Al Reeb is as good as Muniz. Gets a couple of pounds from him. Looks in very good order, and I think we'll take a fair bit of beating here. A couple of paddock negatives for me. Smith Kana is very interesting on the form that she showed 2 starts back behind Anna Monifa, which is then only 6 behind Anna Monifa last time out in that auction race that we had last weekend. And she's very, as you can see, very, very much on her toes and getting jig-joggy and wasting energy in the prelims. That puts me off her to a degree.
Yeah, she's a 10-1 chance at the moment. That's interesting, as you say, that form line that we showed you there, involving Muniz, the 14 you mentioned, Shadow, and the 13 Expo Al Riyadh was in that form line as well. And again, is not too far behind. That's a 20-1 chance. Shadow is that's an 8-1 chance. I'm getting carried away. Shadow's a 7-1 chance, so they're understandably given chances. I'm a little bit like you. I like the 2, but also quite like the 6 as well. And I'm probably just leaning towards Al Mitab Sweets. Say there was nothing in it on that run last time. I mean, you could argue a case either way, but I just take the view that maybe the 6 has been just eased slightly more in the handicap over a more sustained period. But you know, it's a really good betting race. I mean, the handicapper can be pleased going into it anyway with how this has been framed up.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, again, you mentioned Almatave Sweet there, who's getting a little bit of weight from Ibn Al Reeb today, and on a strict rerunning of that race last time out, should come out on top. Maybe doesn't have quite as solid an overall profile, and a slight question marks about the suitability of 1800 metres. Is a winner over 16. But again, this 1800 metre trip can catch a few of them out. And it's worth looking to see who's actually got a bit of form. Muniz has been placed over the 1800 metres. It's a new trip for Ibn Al Reeb, and that's a little bit of a question as well. So I don't think it will suit Mozart, who's pretty speedy. The number 3, I think the handicapper's got him now, despite him having 2 wins earlier in the season. And yeah, it's difficult to find too many who are really crying out for this trip. But there's a possibility that 1 or 2 might actually improve for it, who've not been tried before. And it's not the easiest race in the world, although with quite a few of them being out of the weight, you'd like to think it should go either to something unexposed or something towards the head of the width.
Okay, right, they're making their way down. Let's see if we can get a little bit more help from Callum.
Thank you very much, team. Yes, a couple more that caught the eye. Amir Alanaya, the 10, of course, typical for the Tariq Mohammed Al-Naya team. Really looked well in the prelims, very well turned out. And also the 18 right at the bottom here, Fal Al-Shimal, has had the 4 starts, finished 4th twice and well out the places other than that. I thought that horse looked really fit. So another one I would give a slight mention to, just going down the post now and looking really nice going down to post as well. The 18 would definitely be my second choice in here. Have been spending some time catching up with connections as well. Ibn Al-Rib is the representative representing one of the 2 Nicholas Bachelard runners. I spoke to Nicholas. He said he's going to be a very exciting horse for next season, but he has had a very busy end to the season. This could be one run too many. So that would be the only warning light I put on Ibn Al-Rib. He's also not got the nicest of actions. You'll watch him gallop and he'll swing out his off 4 will just swing out towards you. So if we get a head on with him and he's travelling well, he's one to keep an eye on. I imagine the vets will have a good look at him when he goes down to the start, because when he's cantering, he doesn't look quite as good as when he's walking. That would be my only concern with him. The trainer did say, though, for next season, he is a really nice horse. His concern with Muaniz was the weight, but obviously Tariq takes off an extra kilo there, so he's meant to have 62 on his back, but he's only got the 61. That was a good run behind what could be a potential rocket ship of the White Stables last time out. So no disgrace finishing second on that occasion. Then you've got the likes of the very consistent Kalido, who is somehow still a maiden. Still shocks me. Mozart, who has been brilliantly campaigned as well, horse number 3. What a season they've had with Mozart. With different connections, Mozart might never have won a race, but they've got 2 wins with that one in well-found plots. This is a little bit of a tougher ask. 60 kilos on the back, not the overall biggest of sorts. Smitkana was another one who I thought looked a little bit woolly in the prelims, but if I had to make a selection, I would be leaning towards the 2, and I want to give a very positive shout out to the 18, who was also a nice eye catcher on the way down to post. Guys, I'm sticking with the 2, but keep your eye out on the 18. That jumps out of stall number 17.
Yeah, the 18 Fal Al-Shimal is a 12-1 chance. Ibn Al-Rib that Callum settled on those. Just gone 7-2 in from 4s, shortening up number 6 Al-Mitab Sweet as well, 5s to 4s, and now 11-2 bar those. So I'm going to take Al-Mitab Sweet. We know Callum's on the 2. I'm presuming you're sticking with 2 as well, Rory.
Well, I'm toying with it, asking myself the question about how well should be suited by the trip. We know that Muaniz stays the trip, but because that was the distance he ran over last time when placed behind Kul Al Shakur. I'm saying that wasn't a bad piece of form, but of course he had Shadow back in 3rd that day, and Shadow does meet him on much better terms. So he's actually run most of his best races, Shadow, when he's been faced with a reasonable test of stamina.
Yeah.
He's been dropping back to 1,200 and 1,400 meters, but his best efforts have come at 16 until last time out when he stepped up again to be placed over the 1,800 meters. He's not from 10 in his career, only been placed twice, but he is running well at the moment, and he clearly stays this trip. And I think it's a question for enough of these. So with bottom weight here, I'm going to go with Shadow.
Oh,
and hope
okay.
that I don't regret. Number 14.
Number 14, Shadow, who is 7-1 in the market at the moment, is going to be Rory's confirmed choice. It's locked in. They're all locked in. There's no change. Well, I mean, we can bend the rules, but we're not going to. We're sticking with our selections.
What are the scores on the doors now?
Scores on the doors are your good self, Rory, with 6, myself and Callum with 4. Now, we've only got 4 races to go, so
this would make it stymie if I could find one.
Yeah. Even if things remain as they are, you're edging.
Dormy in golf terms. Rather, you'd be stymied.
Closer.
But I'd be Dormy 3.
Dormy 3.
I haven't played match play in a long time on a golf course, but I like a bit of Dormy.
Who do you like? Who do you like wherever you're watching tonight? Maybe I've got a strong view on this race, which we can't understand. It's a tough handicap, but I'm sure you have got a view on the 2 listed races that are still to come this evening. Absolute crackers. So even if you haven't, have a little sneaky look at the race card, come up with a selection, and share with us. Let us know who you like. We'll root for you, whoever you fancy in either or both of those races, and we'll give you a little mention as well. So it's easy to do on the chat page on the YouTube channel. You can see it as you watch the output just alongside. Sign in, get your message across. Hey presto, you'll be live on the programme, the final programme of this year. Right, Callum's on 2, I'm with 6, Rory has swerved away from the 2. He's gone 14, and they're about to move to the gates for race number 5. So 1800 metre local bred 3-year-olds with a top mark here of 70. And the first of them are going in. For this big field, of course, we've got 2 reserves taken out. Everything else runs, and they're starting to filter forward ahead of race number 5. Let's get back to Alex.
Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, runners going in. First handful already locked away, so it shouldn't be too far from a start, because we know once they get going, they do fly into the stalls, don't they? Speaking of which, Fiery Aru has just gone in, the 17, moved into stall number 6. Saudi Victory moving up as well, and also Ablik has just gone in, gate 9 for that individual. If you're following Ibn Al-Reeb, Callum's pick 14 is the stall to watch out for from the start. Shadow given a positive mention just a few doors down in stall 11. Al-Matib Sweet will be jumping from 18, so they're all pushed a little on the wide side. Final 2 or 3 to their places. The 16 Intilak is just coming up, and also 15 Bayrak Al-Jabriya. It'll be the last one in. That one slots forwards, and we are ready to race. Stand by. Rearing in the middle of the gates here, so a little hold up. Settle down. Lindsay getting agitated now. Further rearing here. Right, looks like they're settling. It is the 13 stall, Bayrak Al-Jabriya, has been causing the issues, the final one into the gates. No wonder was held up to be last. Barely into the stalls and immediately played up, and has now been reversed. It'll be a quick check over. Rest of the runners are settled in the stalls at present. There's the jockey, Mohammed Al-Yami, in conversation with the starting team. The vet's having a look. Checking the legs, and all appears okay, so we're clear to go. Mohammed hopping back on board, little trot up, and then we'll move back into the stalls. So coming back in line into stall 13, and once again we're ready to race. They're off and racing, down on nose coming out of the gates. Bayrak Al-Jabriya wasn't the best of beginnings, but actually didn't lose too much ground, and is going to slot into mid-division early on. One of the sluggish away was Amin Al-Anaya down on the inside. That's going to be the early back marker. Ibn Al-Reeb out wide got a very nice start, races prominently. Also going on is Iyat Madia on the outside of rivals, crossing over. Down on the inside as well, we've got Fari Aru trying to hold that inner position, and Khalido, the white and red colours, now tacking over from a little wider on the course. Al-Matib Sweet is not too far from the pace as they go onwards to the left-hander. Ablik is on the outside of rivals, just hunting up the leading line. Muaniz is on the inside fence, following down into midfield to find Akko Fawa. Also mid-division is Kawalees. They're being tracked through by, on the outside, Smith Kana, but as they work their way on towards the turn, beyond the halfway point, up top and powering along, it's Khalido. Khalido's got the advantage of a length and a half at the moment. Al-Matib Sweet is going along quite strongly into second. Ibn Al-Reeb is now coming under a squeeze on the fence in third. Ablik is next in the order, pushed along. Muaniz is on, that one's inside. They're quite well thinned out, aren't they, as they come to the top of the straight, and still up top, Khalido is pouring it on. Heading inside the final 400, Khalido with the advantage. Al-Matib Sweet is trying to close this one down. Shadow down on the running rail is starting to finish off in advance. Muanis as they work their way close to home. Khalidou has been positively ridden by Thab Al-Timyat and has still got the call. It's a length lead, needs the line, but is staying on quite powerfully, in fact, and Khalidou will win. Beating off into second place Al-Matib Sweet, third to Muanis, and they were followed in by Shadow and Ibn Al-Reeb. Victory for the four, Khalidou. Thab Al-Timyat with a very positive ride and has been rewarded here. In fairness, did stay on strongly all the way to the finish. At one point it looked as though Al-Matib Sweet was going to get a bit closer than the actual finishing margin. The winner has clocked a time of 1:56.07. There's 2 1/4 lengths between first and second. Muanis in third place, another 3 parts back in third. And then it is Shadow who came through on the running rail from off the pace to fill out a minor finishing position. Confirming the order for race 5 was 4, 6, 1 and 14.
Well, much to the delight there of Thab Al-Timyat, the £1 claimer. Khalidou has seen them all off. Makes most of the running, 20-1 chance. Al-Matib Sweet was giving chase, wasn't going to catch the leader in second one. Muanis was third, 14 Shadow has crossed the line back in fourth. So 4, 6, 1 and 14, evening to Solid State, who played Mozart, wasn't to be. Thanks for your selection. Callum with more.
Oh, if there's ever a horse who deserves to win a race, it is Khalidou, who finally gets the head in front at the 15th time of asking. And my goodness, they've given this horse some tough asking. He's been hugely consistent most of the way through. He put in a couple of poor runs previously, which were maybe suggesting that he's just a bit over the top, but Connections have given him one more run, and they've been duly rewarded with a first victory. And Thab Al-Timyat, who was on board, who takes off the 1 kilo, is very, very grateful for that success. A good win here from the front, made every post the winning one, and very much in the shape of Wigberto Ramos's winner earlier in the cars. Never really looked in danger, although they were closing all the time. They weren't bridging that gap, and it was Khalidou who took the victory. A good effort from the runner-up as well, but they couldn't get anywhere near the leader. Ibn Al-Reeb just looked like he really had one run too many, as the trainer suggested. Muanis came from off the speed and got involved in the finish as well, I think later picking up third as well, so they'll be happy with the success. Thab Al-Timyat, he had a cracking end to the season, hasn't he? Al-Matib Sweet was the other horse who came running on for second. Al-Daresri coming home in 6th place, but Thab Al-Timyat, arms aloft, he's happy with that success, and I'm over the moon to see Khalidou finally get the head in front.
Yeah, Khalidou's a big price winner, but as Callum quite rightly points out there, just like the previous winner, it was a case of being near the front. And you were just saying to me, Rory, the winner's come out of 19, the runner-up's come out of 18. So, look, I think we've highlighted that wide draws are not a problem, and they certainly weren't in that particular race.
Yeah, and we were talking to a couple of trainers earlier in the week, Nicolas Bachelard and Jimmy Jerkins. They were saying there have been times here where the one place you don't want to be is on the rail before the home straight. But it's, it's different strokes for different folks, and this winner's got across and got onto the rail. So the rail's fine when you get across to it, and it hasn't stopped most horses from running well if they're drawn in double figures. Again, 3 of the first 4 home were drawn in double figures. 19, 18, 4, 11, I think, are the stall numbers of these. The tricky thing with this race was that we were concentrating on a race run over 1,800 metres.
We were, yeah.
Last week, where Kul Al Shukr won, and Muaniz was second. My selection, Shadow, was third, and Khalida was well down the field. Well, Shadow was 17 pounds better off with Muaniz, and has finished the same distance behind him, 1 place behind him again. And Khalida, he was well behind the pair of them, has come and beaten them both. So it just shows you that you never really know.
Still, it's not bad form, is it? Because it's filled 3 of the first 4 positions.
And you've got to forgive horses if you get a bad position at this track, you're stuck in the wrong place and you're getting the kickback. You don't tend to show your form. I tend to be much more forgiving of horses who finish nowhere if they're capable. If I know they're capable of winning races, than marking them up for finishing 6th or 7th. Often those horses who sort of finish in the first half of the field but aren't competitive, they often have the run of the race and just aren't good enough. Whereas a lot of the horses who finish out the back, they just can't get competitive. The jockeys often decide. You see Mozart here; he's well down the field. His jockey's pretty much given up already. And we know that he can win races. So often, when jockeys find themselves in positions where they can't win, the horses get a bit of kickback. They're not fancying it. They're just not given a hard time. And you can see them bouncing back. If you start measuring the distance they're beaten by and saying that's how inferior they are to the horses in front, then you get yourselves in serious trouble. You really only want to be talking about distances and weights and stuff when you're dealing with horses who've had a good run through, whether they've come from the rear or whether they've been on the front end, and you get an idea that they've run their race. Horses who haven't run the race, you just got to put a line through it. And if they hardly ever run the race, then you've got to be very wary of them. There's one coming up later on actually, who's very interesting. I say later on. Who's the type who tends to finish out the back on most of her races, but when things do go her way, she wins. But when she wins, she tends to win at big prices because her form figures tend to read 0, 0, 0, because she simply won't be competitive when things don't go her way. But she's got talent, and she wins races in her turn. So hopefully we'll get a chance to demonstrate that later on.
Yeah, just watching the finish here, you would have watched Khalida sort of getting across and having control a long way out of the row. Almatab Sweet gave it a go, and for a moment your Shadow was threatening in the darker colours as well. Muaniz is eventually going to come through and grab third, but this is a horse you say was overlooked because of that down the field finishing position last time, and it's a surprise.
I suspect he's never led in his races
Probably
before.
not.
I'd have to go through because
no.
we don't have in-running comments with the horse. You've got to watch the videos back to find that out.
Yeah.
But he's not fast. But he clearly stays the 1,800 metres well, and I just wonder if this is the first time he's been able to get to the front, and that's made a difference to him.
Okay, so we are rapidly running out of races tonight. We're rapidly running out of races this season, of course. We're coming to those championship races now, and we've got this first of the valuable 300,000 Real races to come. This is what's still to come, actually. If you're just joining us, it's a good time to join us. We've got the champion race coming up here over 1,200 metres next for these 4-year-olds and older horses for local breds and imported. And then, of course, we've got the all-important Arabian championship race. That's over the 1,600. And then we've got the champion itself for the older horses over 2,000. So, this is a good race in its own right, Rory, coming up, isn't it? The horse is sort of bobbling just under the 100, but then I think the 2 races that follow, obviously the Arabian race is a particularly hot one, and then the finale itself brings some of the stars of the season onto the racetrack.
Yeah, it's a really, really hot contest, but one that I've just got a sneaking suspicion might end up producing a boil over, but maybe that's me just being a little bit worried about this end of season thing. But good race coming up, the racetrack championship over 1,200. One of our favourites, Sunset Flash, won this race last year. We absolutely adored her. In the first season. She won about 20 races between 6 furlongs and 1,600 metres, and she won this in good style last year. No Sunset Flash around. I think she's gone to the paddocks now to produce little Sunset Flashes of her own. And we've got to see who can come through and take her title. There's a couple who run in the same colours, not even close, and Rimal Riyadh represent the same connections as Sunset Flash. It'll be interesting if Rimal Riyadh's the obvious one of that pair to come through and throw down a challenge. It's a 7-to-1 shot. A rating of 88 puts her about 4th or 5th in on the ratings, but she's a little bit better than she's shown in her last 2 starts, and she would have been 90 plus at her peak. Snafia, though, is the obvious one to beat. Quite a warm favourite, rated 99, the daughter of Blue Point. She's been largely progressive this season, has moved up to a rating of 99. And this would be a very appropriate winner for not just Mohammed Al Daham, who's trying to hold on to second place in the title, but Thamar Al Dahani, and particularly Sheikh Abdullah Al Sabah, who's looking for 100 winners in the season.
99, isn't it? He's on the 99. He's on the nerviest 99s. It could happen here. 5-4 favourite. Here's the full list of runners, participants with Alex.
Many thanks, Daryl. Let's have a look at the field then for race 6 on the card. This is the King Abdulaziz Racetrack Champion over 1,200 metres. The 1 is Alpha Salea, Adel Alpha Rady. 2 a non-runner, so we go to the 3, Eclidis with Berto Ramos. The 4 is Merba Alays, Abdullah Al Saidi. 5, Montakaba, Ayad Al Tarisi. The 6 is Mumayaza, Osama Al Shirani. And the 7, Night of Desire for Abdullah Al Credis. Top of the next list will be not even close, number 8, Mohammed Al Nasser. The 9, same ownership, Reem Al Riyadh, Abdullah Lawfi. Number 10 is Rocket Money for Abdulaziz Al Musa. The 11, Sajwa Fahad Al Faradi. The 12 is Shamkat Tawake Asil Al Shirani. 13, Snafia, the aforementioned market leader, Mohammed Al Daham. And the 14 is Ziggy's Phoenix for Abdullah Al Udib. Non-run of the 2, 13 of them in race 6. And Callum is having a look at them right now.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, really looking forward to this race. I think it's a corker. We're looking at Hesham Abdul Wahed's Alpha Salea here. Hesham had a winner yesterday for the Red Stable, and they'll be hoping for more success here. Now, they're just going to take the short course here, so we'll just stay inside. Looks really well in the coat. I was a big fan of this horse last season. She hasn't quite hit the same heights this year, but she's a hard one to dismiss, and she does look very fit, and she's going for Connections, who are in form at the moment. Can't be ignored. Let's go to the 4. This is Merba Alays. Now, our producer, Mark Francis, he loves this horse. He thinks she's an absolute superstar, and she was in Taif. She came to Riyadh and she started the Riyadh season in good form, but she's just fallen off a cliff a little bit recently. 2 disappointing runs, but she's clearly got ability. She comes here with a rating of 90. She's worth every pound of that rating too, and hopefully she can bounce back to form here. Montekiba is the 5. Now, this is another really nicely turned out individual. Has the cross noseband on, the flare strip, and the headgear, and the noseband too. So all the gear, but some idea. Montekiba very rarely runs a bad race and has been exceptionally turned out today. I mean, look at the quarter marks on this one. They really have done a fantastic job with Montekiba. Let's drop our way back then. Let's pass a couple of these. I want to go all the way back now to the 10 and the 11 if we can. So let's roll our way back past the 7, 8, 9, onto the 10, who just comes in front of us now. This is Rocket Money just coming towards me. Yes, that's the right one. Rocket Money just coming towards us now. Another one who looked in really good shape in the parade ring and is a nice type. But again, I'm just thinking, is this one run too many? That would be my only concern for Connections, because it's had plenty of starts this season. 4th last time out with a much better effort than we've seen recently. In behind, we've got Shajwa for the Red Stable. That is the 11 here. That horse come into this race in cracking form. A 2nd place effort last time, and again, like Alpha Salea, looks really well. Farhad Al Faradi will be doing the steering here. He'll be looking for some success. Farhad, all good? That's good. You got the thumbs up from Farhad. That's all we need. Best smile in Saudi for Farhad Al Faradi. Let's drop back to the 13th, Snafia. Plenty of speed for this one. This will be the mount of Mohammed Al Daham. She's been doing it on both turf and dirt this season. She's got bags and bags of speed. She's rated 99. She has to make the shortlist, and she looks fantastic. Samar Al Dahani's horses, some of them have been looking a little bit over the top. Not this one. Snafia looks really well. And finally, we'll look at Ziggy's Phoenix, the one right at the back here. This Irish bred by the mighty Tally Ho stud, who stands some lovely speedy stallions, and this is a speedy daughter of Kodiak. She's 4 now. She's a 5-time winner though, and she's certainly a horse that can't be ignored. She was a winner on penultimate start, 5th last time out, and another you have to put on to your shortlist. Guys, it's an absolute corker of a race, but if I had to make a paddock pick, I think I'm going to go for the 1, Alpha Salea.
Oh, he says it with conviction, doesn't he? Al Faisalea, 13-8 second choice, in behind 13 Snafia, who is 5-4. They're totally dominating. So they met, didn't they? They met behind Honky Top Man. It's on the grass, but it's a piece of form to evaluate.
It is indeed, yeah. Al Faisalea was coming off a break here when finishing fourth, and Snafia has run really well from the front and just gets run down by Honky Tonk Man. In the white noseband here, he finishes strongly, having been pulled out by Oisin Murphy. Not an awful lot between Snafia or Al Faisalea on this. Al Faisalea just flattened out a little bit in the dying strides, but she was coming off a layoff there, and that would have been designed to put an edge on her for this contest.
This is an interesting VT, and our VT department is spot on at picking the right ones. Euclidis is a big price here in a race over course and track trip last time.
She's got plenty to find on the figure. She's got a rating of 82, but she's been pretty consistent on the dirt, and this is her finishing second last time out. Again, finding a hot pot from the white stable too strong, but clear of the rest. This is a different type of contest altogether, and she needs to improve a bit. She's a 33-1 shot. But the one thing, again, as you said, we don't tend to find too many duds on the VT footage, so it's interesting that's actually included in there, given how many other horses you could throw in. So you might want to consider Euclidis, because our VT man, who remains anonymous, is pretty red hot.
There's a bit of a judge, 33-1. You saw Merba Alaïs just on the way down, feet out of the saddle for the rider there, Abdullah Al Saidi, maybe thinking about a race elsewhere. Obviously, the Taif season starts, of course, before we return to Riyadh sometime in July. So that's where a lot of these horses are going to end up. Now, Rimal Riyadh runs in this race, and you were just looking back at this race from last year, Rory, because he finished third on that occasion, and Al Faisalea was second, so we've got a bit of a rematch going on here, haven't we?
This was a very good contest last year. Sunset Flash obviously went out in style with victory here. She was rated 104 coming into Al Faisalea at similar rating to Shaz at the moment, rated 100. Obviously a level weights contest for these mares. There was a 2 1/4 lengths between first and second, a length and 3/4 between Al Faisalea and Rimal Riyadh. Not Even Close, who's also in here, was back in 5th place. Beaten less than a length behind Rimal Riyadh, and they all reoppose again. I would fancy, on this season's form, I'd fancy Al Faisalea to come home in front again, and I think she's had the perfect preparation for this. As I said, had a little bit of a break and then came back for that very good turf contest at the Saudi Cup, running a solid race to be 4th. She's obviously held by Snafia on that, but she hasn't had such a busy season as Snafia, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her bounce back. There's not much between the pair of them. As I said, 96 is the current rating for Al Faisalea. She's not done an awful lot wrong since finishing second in this race last year, when she was rated 100. Snafia is now currently rated 99, and she's gone from strength to strength this season, with that last run on turf as good as she's ever produced. But like Callum, I have a feeling that Al Faisalea might be able to turn the tables with the benefit of a recent run behind her.
They are both shortening up. The market becomes even tighter. The pips are being squeezed at the top of the international market. So Snafia is now 10 to just gone odds on 10 to 11 from 5-4. Al Faisalea is 6-4 from 13-8, and there's also money for Merba Alaïs, 90 to 52. Everything else is being pushed in that direction. So you're going to go top?
I'm going to go top with Al Faisalea. Sounds very much like a Saudi bred mare, but actually it's bred in the UK by former trainer Richard Whittaker up in Yorkshire. So I thought she ran a cracker in this race last year. I like returning horses in races like this, and I think she's just the pick over Snafia. But it would be nice if Snafia won again for the
Al Sabah yard.
For the Al Sabah yard, just to get onto that 100 for the season would be very, very satisfactory for us, and particularly satisfying for the stable.
Okay, well, I'm going that way. I'm going 13 Snafia. So 1 vote for 13, 1 vote for 1, and I'm feeling there's another vote coming for the 1 runner here.
There is another vote coming for the 1, and that comes from me. I like Al Faisalea in this one. I think Hesham Abdulwahed is in good form at the moment. Had that winner yesterday for the Red Stable as well, and I'm sure he'll be hoping to continue to build that relationship with the Red Stable by landing another success here. Keep an eye out on Merba Alaise. She's a lovely type, and hopefully she can bounce back to some level of form. Monta Kehiba is a lovely type as well. Mamiyaza, there's some really, really good individuals in this race, and I'm hoping we may see some of a very special filly or mare on show in this one. If I had to talk about Snafia, I must admit I think she does look a lot better than some of Sama's other runners, and she comes out with 3 whilst Alpha Solea comes out of 1. So it'll be fast and furious, plenty of pace down towards the rail, which should make it easier for our crack commentator, Alex Fussy.
Thank you, Callum. We are going forwards here. Won't take very long at all with this load. Not quite as many runners in this, but it is a cracking little heat, isn't it? The King Abdulaziz racetrack champion over 1,200 metres. Race 6 on today's card. There is Mumayaza just gone in. Rimal Riyadh coming up now. Reminder, that's got the distinguishing red cap between the same ownership. There's the 13 Snafia. And Snafia make it 100 for the ownership. Shortly find out. Alpha Solea got the green cap on, moving in. Stall number 1. We are just about ready to go. Stand by. They're off. Racing away over 1,200 metres, the King Abdulaziz racetrack champion begins. Very sluggish Sajwa, missed the kick by a good 4 or 5 lengths. Well away was Snafia, going to try and bag the lead and go every step of the way. Down on the inside, Alpha Solea is keeping company early. Night of Desire is not too far away from the racing in 3rd. Up on the outside is Shamkat to wait. Down on the inside is Eklidis, the red cap, and is following. Then Mumayaza, yellow jacket with the blue sleeves. Down on the inside, running rail, Rimal Riyadh. Being followed by Sajwa, who makes a couple of places on the inside fence. Rocket Money is in behind that one. Also down the order, not even close. Mota Gabia, Merba Alaise towards the back of the pack with Ziggy's Phoenix as they come around the turn for home. Dueling leaders, Alpha Solea coming up the inside of Snafia. They're working their way to the final 250. They're being followed by Night of Desire, and then comes Mumayaza, a protracted battle. Alpha Solea on the inside of Snafia, who won't go away, but Alpha Solea is trying to see off Snafia, who comes again, heads up and down all the way to the line. Snafia with a gutsy effort and has done it. Snafia, 100 up for the ownership group, beats Alpha Solea in 2nd. Mumayaza followed in next, and then came Night of Desire. Snafia has won the King Abdulaziz racetrack champion. Well done to Daryl. Fancied Snafia to land the short odds, and what a tussle it was between these two. Alpha Solea on the inside fighting all the way to the line, but Snafia has provided Sheikh Abdullah Al Sabah with the 100, and that is going to be a really pleasing success for all concerned. What a gutsy effort that was. 1:12.74 the winner's time. Very nice performance indeed. Beating off Alpha Solea into 2nd, waiting on confirmation on places down in behind. It's officially ahead of the margin between the pair. There's Thama Al-Dahani delighted with that winner. Not surprised at all. Just waiting for your confirmation on 3rd and 4th here at the moment. But it was very much about the battle between the top 2, wasn't it? Well fancied by the guys before the off, and they have duly delivered a cracking finish. Mumayaza confirmed as 3rd, and Night of Desire in 4th. So all in all, that means our order in race 6, 13, 1, 6 and 7.
It's 100 up for Al Sabah Racing Stable. The Samar Al Dahani, you've done it. You've hit the 100 for the boss.
Alhamdulillah. I thank God really. And the point for me to register my name in Saudi Arabia, 25 years, nobody catch this point. Today I'm number one who catch the point. I'm 87 today. I passed Jerry Barton. I'm happy for all my supporter. I'm happy for my jockey. Mohammed, well done. I'm happy for him.
We'll go follow him. We can walk down. Let's walk down. Let's go.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for all the stuff. You know, it's a big challenge. All our horse going down the form. We trying hard, but the filly, she's good, and she do it. She do the 100, and she do for me the 87.
She was so tough today. She looked like she was beaten halfway down the straight, and Mohammed Al Daham just fights back.
I know she will come. I know her. I know her very well. She will come. And if you believe me, she was good before 5 days.
Really?
She was good before 5 days, but she come step by step, and I'm happy for her today.
Just like you, she's as tough as nails. Go and enjoy the success. Well done.
Thank you.
Samar Al Dahani enjoying the success here with Snafia, who shows speed, toughness, guile and remorseless success here to land 87 winners, putting Samar ahead of Jerry Barton's record. Look at the scenes in here in the winners enclosure. Absolutely stunning scenes here. 100 up for Al Sabah, 87 up for Samar as well, who has been such a star for our channel all the way through, never saying no to an interview both before or after racing. He's been an absolute pleasure to deal with. Mohammed Al Daham in the saddle, the exact same can be said for him. What a moment for the team. They've had a wonderful season. Obviously, we can't forget Mohammed Al Daham was your winner of the International Jockeys Championship as well, so it's just all come to a head perfectly. They threw plenty of darts over the last couple of weeks, and a few of them have missed the target. Not this one. This one has hit the target bang on, as Snafia has dominated to win this contest. Mohammed, congratulations, well done.
Thank you, Alhamdulillah. First and second, thanks for the owner and the trainer and the filly.
What a wonderful performance from the horse, though. She was so tough today. You had to fight to win that race.
Yeah, this is a nice filly, Al-Faisaliya. But Alhamdulillah, my filly, he helped me and I win.
And it's wonderful for Samar to hit that record-breaking winner's title, for the owners to hit 100 points as well, and for you, just a fantastic season all the way through.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Thanks the owner and the trainer and all the time, Alhamdulillah.
And finally, Sir Aymer in our next race, would he have a chance as well? He's a lovely horse. It's a big, big prize as well.
Yeah, inshallah, I hope this. Inshallah, I hope.
Well, Mohammed, well done.
Thank you.
It was always going to be a key race, wasn't it? It had all that extra significance, as Callum has explained. Snafia has won the 100 up for the owners, the Al Sabah stable. Virtually second secured in the Jockeys Championship for Mohammed Al Daham. Now on to 80 winners. There's confirmation, Snafia, Al Faisaliya in second. 13-1, they dominated. Third was Mumazaya, and in behind those, fourth horse was 7 Night of Desire. I mean, this was toing and froing all the way. I thought you had it. I thought Al Faisaliya had it.
She moved up the rail and she got herself to the front from Snafia. They battled for a long way. I thought she was just edging ahead at this stage, but fair play to Snafia, who digs deep herself. The pair of them arguably went slightly too hard, but they got a bit more class in this field. You could see they were being closed down late on. Because they'd settled down to battle it out from a long way from home. So not the best way of doing the fastest time for this race. And they're about a second slower than last year. But it's still a very, very good race and a good performance. Al Faisaliya away very quickly from the inside with the green cap. And Snafia immediately joins her. Night of Desire in the yellow is the other one to feature in the early stages of the race. And eventually we'll see Mumiyaza in the yellow with the blue sleeves run on for third. But basically, it's a two-horse war, and it's just a case of who's going to give. Every time one of them gets half a length in front, the other moves up again to challenge. And I reckon the leader's actually changed hands. It'd be interesting speaking to connections about it. We haven't seen him since Taif.
Yeah, September.
He was very, very good last season, and he won this race easily last year. He's gone to Taif and made hay there. He actually wasn't that good in Taif last season. He was beaten a couple of times.
Okay.
Tended to race a little bit too freely for his own good, but he's probably at his best at around 1,600 metres. He does stay a little bit further. But he was brilliant in this race last year, and he's got a little bit in hand if he's at his best.
Is he still in that sort of form? Is he back to that sort of form? We're going to find out in around about 10 minutes' time. Right now, though, let's get those runners and riders.
Thank you, gents. Let's have a look at the field then for this listed prize, the King Abdulaziz Racetrack Champion for the purebred Arabians. The 1 is Al Qaza, the mount of Eddie Castro. The 2, Amir Al Cham, that'll be Abdullah Al Khamis. 3 is Bayrak Al Hizam, Thab Al Timyat. The 4, Ikan Dubozul, Abdullah Al Saidi. The 5, Jamran Al Kaladia, Naif Al Nazi. The 6 is Katia Al Kaladia, Abdullah Al Credits. We move over to the 7, Najib Al Zaman, already been touched upon, Camilo Ospina. The 8 is Sakran Al Kaladia, Mohammed Al Yami. The 9, Sir Aymer Mohammed Al Daham. Can Connections have the quickfire double? The 10 is Suwaiti Khalid Al Kaladia, Abdulaziz Al Faradi. And the 11 is Turkey Al Kaladia, Adel Al Faradi. Umran is the 12, that is Nawaf Al Muriani. And the 13, Bint Galiat Al Kaladia, Fahad Al Faradi. 14 is Dim Al Bar, so that's Abdullah Al Farouz. The 15, Tagruda, Mohammed Al Hubail. The 16 is Fake, that'll be Abdullah Al Hussein. 17 is Majdala, Osama Al Sharani. 18 is Salal Al Rayla, that is Meshal Al Mazid. And the 19 is over the page, sneaking there. That's Al Nasser Rayla, Luis Morales. That's the field then for this listed prize. Looking forward to this, and Callum is ready for us in the parade ring.
Thank you, Alex. This is an absolute corker of a race. First of all, for looking at it, Ikan Dubozul. Nice looking type here. Comes here off the back of a very good win in decent company last time. Looks really well in the prelims and certainly cannot be ignored here. With a rating of 112, you usually think that would be enough, but this is an absolute corker of a contest. In behind, first of the Al Kaladir, Jamran Al Kaladir, 103 rated, partnered by Naif Al Anavi. Probably more of a pace angle in this contest, but you cannot let Naif loose on the lead. He will make you look silly, and he's done it before. In behind, we've got Kathir Al Kaladir. Abdullah Al Credis is on board. Kathir, the blood is up on this one. Probably going to find this all a bit too tough, but has been banging his head in real difficult contests for much of his career. Today is no different. But here comes the one we're looking at. Najib Al Zaman. Rory, I know you're keen on this one. Remember when he gave Afsan Al Kaladir a big fright last season? If he's at that form again, if he's at the form he showed in this last race last year, he's going to be very hard to beat. And my goodness, isn't he good? He's a proper horse, and I can't wait to see him. We're going to try and grab a word with Connections. I'm going to see if we can speak to Camillo. I know where they're gathered. It's all about whether I can break him. We'll just stay with him now for the moment, just follow him all the way down, and then we will try and catch a word with Camillo. I'm going to find out where he's hidden, because he has, he's just made a move. I've got him. Right, so now just come with me, if you can, and then we're going to just grab a very quick word with Camillo Ospina. Everyone's gathering about the Najib Al Zaman Connections, so we're going to have to do my best Martin Brundle impression and just sneak in here. Camillo, very quickly, super quick with him. He looks fantastic. You must absolutely love him, and he looks so good today.
Yeah, he's a good horse, you know. He's a nice horse from Thai no run, but he's okay. And the trainer Abdulaziz, he told me he's in very good shape and looking very good, you know. He got willing, he will do, inshallah.
In this race last year, there was a lot of tension in the air. The two owners don't like each other very much between your team and the Al Kaladia side. Is that tension still there? Can you still feel that in the air before this race?
No, you know, always is the tough race, you know, Al Kaladia horses, and there are another horses very good also, but I believe in my horse, and we'll see.
We believe in your horse too. Best of luck in this race. It's going to be very exciting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to see a couple more just coming past us now. Tagruda is just appearing on our left here now. This is Tagruda, one of my all-time favourites. A lovely, lovely type. She looks beautiful. She always looks at me in the parade ring because she knows how much I love her. Now, we must move back with her because I want to look at Dim Al-Baho, the 14, who's just ahead of us now. Sorry, just one more in front of us. This is Dim Al-Baho. This is the interesting one because if you didn't know there was an unregistered contest here at King Abdulaziz Racecourse, you'd be wondering why this horse isn't more fancy, because Dim Al-Baha basically bolted up when we last saw her under Jcsa rules. However, you do need to understand she was beaten in that unofficial race when going very, very short in the market. So she was well fancied on that day. It didn't work out for her, but she's still a lovely, lovely type, and she's very good looking, but this might be a bit too tough for her. There's plenty more I could talk about in here, but I'm letting you know my colours are nailed to the mast quickly. Najib Al-Zaman is the pick for me.
Thank you very much, Callum. Evening to Sareem, who's joined us as well. Thank you for your selection in the previous race. Still time to get your picks in and to let us know where you're watching. On this final night, final two races, two absolute belters to come. Mark is so open, Rory, 4-1 the field. Najib Al-Zaman is heading the betting, of course, as you say, been off for a long time. Winner of this race last year in a trappy looking heat. 5-1 is Sir Aim, and that's the 9. 6-1 Bint Galiat Al-Khaladir, and 7's Turkey Al-Khaladir as well. We've got a bit of a mix of saddle cloths and weights and everything here with the 10. Sawaiti Khalid Al-Khaladir, just like happened in the first race.
Fancy that. Sir Amer, you heard Callum say that what a nice horse he was when speaking to Muhammad Al-Dahama. He probably would do, but I would not have Sir Amer very high on my list of nice horses here. He's talented, but he's not easy to win with, as you can see from that overall record. 31 for a horse with his rating.
Yeah.
He's only won twice from 31 career starts. Yeah. Whereas Callum was saying, Katir Al-Khaladir is outclassed here, but that's won 11 times from 34. Wins races when it can. Sir Amer just tends to look moody and then does late work to finish in the frame. He's been placed 16 times in that career, but just the 2 wins. Ricardo Sousa Ferreira got a really good tune out of him early in the season when he beat Al Hareth over 2,000 metres. The first time I've actually seen the horse travel sweetly in a race, and to be honest, he's not travelled sweetly since. He's run creditably on a few occasions, but let's go back to Callum.
Guys, thank you very much for taking the time to come back to me. There's so many good horses in this race, and you cannot go without talking about Salah Rayla, who absolutely hosed up 2 starts ago. She's a mount of Michel Al-Mazid. Now, those of you who don't know Michel may remember, if you watched the programme last week, he had a winner on a very valuable purebred Arabian juvenile who was making her first start under Jcsa rules and was subsequently sold for a lot of money. This is one of the kindest hands jockeys in Saudi Arabia. You don't see him much, but watch his hand placement. The horse is really gallant for him. He's a talented man, and just because he's not a big name, do not ignore him on this very, very talented colt. Hugely exciting race, lads. I can't wait to watch it.
Well, we've not got long to wait, have we? 5 or so minutes until they're due off. We best have a look at a couple of these formations. There's only one place to start, Najib Al-Zaman. This is the Taif run. The last time we saw this horse back in September.
Yeah, and this is him winning the equivalent contest in Taif, the racetrack championship there. And as you can see, only 2 of them ever counted, really. I wonder if that's our old friend Al Hareth back in 3rd, but he wins this in decent style. Grinding it out, not much between the front 2 at the end there, but good horse in 3rd and the rest of them well behind.
Now Dim Al-Ba's really interesting, still unbeaten. Here's a run from last month.
Yeah, this was an impressive performance from Dim Al-Ba. We've only seen officially twice in action. This was Dim Al-Ba beating highly rated rivals in I think that was in the maiden contest, but went on to win a better race, and then showed up at the Festival of Purebred Arabian Racing in January, where she was expected to win there, and just was a little bit disappointing. I can see her bouncing back. She has a rating of 117. She does need to do better than she did last time, but maybe that run came a little bit too soon for her so early in her career. Yeah, we should talk about a few of the others because there's plenty of interest here. You've mentioned Sir Amos, so we'll move on and have a look at Bint Galiat Al Kaladir, who is the 13 on the card. He was second on the grass, I think, when last seen back in January. Rated 120, so in the right ballpark. Yeah, but it's coming from quite a long layoff. Bint Galiat Al Kaladir was second in open company in the Al Manifa qualifier last January, and then ran in the Al Manifa Cup on turf next time out behind Tilal Al Kaladir. Ran respectively there, but over a year's absence now, which is a bit of a worry. That's a bit of a worry. I want to talk about the bottom horse as well, the 4-year-old filly who gets the allowances here, Al Nasrallah here, who's you know, very, very intriguing. I think 3 wins out of 5 so far, sort of climbing up through the weights and the handicap mark if you want. You know, this is a real test today. I mean, she got what it takes to play a part. That's a little bit of a question, but she has actually improved on turf in her last 2 starts, finishing second to Sharfa Al Hazam in the Al Manifa qualifier 2 starts ago. And then she wasn't at all disgraced from beating less than 6 lengths in that Group 1 Al Manifa Cup behind Kingmaker, with Asfan Al Kaladir not that far in front of her that day. She looked raw when we saw her in her early start. She won a maiden at Taif and then was impressive taking an open here first time out, but beating a fairly ordinary horse in blind date, and then Maithab Al Zamil next time out. But her last 2 starts on turf shows that she's still going the right way. She's got a little bit to find, but she keeps stepping up, so it's difficult to know what her ceiling is going to be. Yeah. I mean, I think she's going to run a good race. Probably not quite good enough is how I saw it, but I'll be, you know, disappointed if she's not in the frame, perhaps. Others you want to talk about? Turkey Al Kaladir, should we? Turkey Al Kaladir is really, really solid. Usually beating slightly inferior rivals in open races and in cup contests. Was only 9th in that Al Manifa on turf last time out, and is held by a couple of these on that form. Definitely better horse on dirt though, and usually ultra reliable. The only negative I would say with Turkey Al Kaladir is that he has had a pretty hard season already, and whether he's feeling the effects of that remains to be seen. Yeah, Adele's got the ride, of course, and the runners are gathering down at the start. Won't be too long before they're offered into the gates here for this penultimate race of the season. It's strange to keep saying that. We are very close to the end of the year. It's the final Arabian race. It's the big Arabian race of the campaign, the championship race. Who is going to come out on top, though, Rory, in your opinion? I think Najib Al Zaman will come out on top. He's certainly the best horse in this race. It's just a case of whether he's ready to fire after a bit of a break. But if he is, then they'll find him very hard to beat. Yeah, he is probably the most likely winner, isn't he? 3-1. He's gone favourite now, having been 4-1. He's attracting plenty of late interest. I almost feel I need to have an alternative selection to try and keep this championship a little. Well, you could agree and then go all out in the last race to force a draw. Then wouldn't I? Then I win on moral winner count back. I've had 2 of those. I need something else, don't I? Really? Oh goodness me! I am going to have to take. Bint Galiat Al Kaladir then the 13. So I ordinarily I'd be with you on the 7, but to keep it interesting, I'll take the 13. Let's go to Callum. I think Callum is with the 7. We don't need to hear from Callum. We know Callum is with the 7. Rory's with the 7. I'm with the 13. Runners are about to go in. Not sure who you like at home because I haven't heard from you, but if you're very quick, get your message across and we'll give you a mention post-race as we head back to Alex.
Many thanks, Daryl. Yeah, runners going in here then for our penultimate event of the day, the campaign, the King Abdulaziz Racetrack Champion for purebred Arabians. There's the 2 moving in, Amir Al Chaman, the one actually, Al Kaza going together. Also heading up is the 15 Tagruda. We've got a whole host of different coloured caps here if you're following any of the Al Kaladir stables runners. Traditional black cap for Jamran, the 5. White cap for Suwaiti Khalid Al Kaladir, the 10. Green one, Turkey Al Kaladir, and red for Bint Galiat Al Kaladir. So if you're following all of those combinations, good luck. I should say it's yellow for the 11. It's just about to go in, actually, Turkey Al Khalidiyah. So we're getting there. Not too many more left to go. I think we've got 4 of them hiding out the back. Sakran Al Khalidiyah coming up. A final turn for Umran. Suwaiti Khalid Al Khalidiyah and Najib Al Zaman are the final 3 runners. In goes Najib Al Zaman, and here we go, ready for action. They're off and racing. Jumped away them in this purebred Arabian Championship contest, 1600 metres in front of the field. Decent start made by Suwaiti Khalid Al Khalidiyah. The white cap wants to go forwards. Amir Al Jam not too far from the pace, and Najib Al Zaman is also bang up there, but just checking back off the inside is Ospina for clear sailing. Looking out into the middle of the track, Ikandu Bolzul is coming forwards to press the leaders as well. Turkey Al Khalidiyah is following the yellow cap, and then Sir Aimer, who's racing just in amongst rivals. Then Sakran Al Khalidiyah. Still on the inside is Amir Al Cham, looking down into midfield to find Jamran Al Khalidiyah. On the outside of rivals, Dim Albar is trying to get involved and is moving up into 3rd place, but it's Ikandu Bozul as they work their way out of the back. Has the advantage here over the strongly driven Suwaiti Khalid Al Khalidiyah. 3rd place now, Najib Al Zaman moving quite nicely, and on the outside, Turkey Al Khalidiyah is starting to get rolling. In behind those, Aimer is under pressure. Not too many others are getting involved in this race at all as they're about to swing on in. Round the outside, the yellow cap Turkey Al Khalidiyah between rivals. Najib Al Zaman now take on and go past Ikandu Bozul. Sir Aimer is back in 3rd position, and then we have Dim Al Bar up on the inside fence running on a bit is Katir Al Khalidiyah, but it's another battle for the championship as they go close to home. Up on the inside, Najib Al Zaman just has it. It's a half-length advantage. Turkey Al Khalidiyah is trying all the way, but Najib Al Zaman lifted home for victory. Turkey Al Khalidiyah in 2nd, Sir Aimer close up in behind. A gap to Amir Al Cham next. Najib Al Zaman has done it for Camilo Ospina, has gone on to win the King Abdulaziz Race Track Champion listed contest, beating off Turkey Al Khalidiyah, who again was fighting hard all the way to the line, but it was the 7 Najib Al Zaman who just got the upper hand inside the final 50 metres. A length and a quarter in the end between the pair, and the winner has stopped the clock on 1:49.09. 3rd place for Sir Aimer, good run, and Ikandu Bozul has finished a remote, well, I say remote, about 4 or 5 lengths back in 4th place, but outperforming expectations. Order of finish in race 7, 7, 11, 9 and 4.
Well, it was a good old buckle, wasn't it? And Najib Al Zaman had to dig deep under Camillo Ospina to gain a repeat victory in this Arabian Championship race. There's the full result. Turkey Al Khaladir made it interesting, the 11th. Surayma takes a piece of the action back in third. The 9, Ikander Berlua was back in fourth place at 7-11. It's 9-4. Let's enjoy all the post-race flavour here with Callum.
Now that was a stunning contest there as Najib Al Zaman takes the King Abdulaziz Racetrack Championship listed contest for the purebred Arabians in some style. Camillo Ospina at his absolute best in the saddle in a driving finish with Turkey Al Khaladir in behind. And this result means a huge amount to these connections. Not the biggest of teams, but there was a lot of needle and a lot of nastiness between the two sides, between this team and the Al Khaladir team last season. Now, I'm not sure whether that's rolled onto this season, but if it was anything half as calm as it was last season, there'll still be a little bit of needle in the air. And it's absolutely wonderful scenes here. Trainer just coming to join us now as well. Abdulaziz Al Mosa will be coming to join us, just coming into shot now with hugs all round, bless him. He's enjoying this moment. This horse, Najib Al Zaman, look at him. He could go round again, bless him. He's a stunning, stunning horse. I remember when we first kind of got our first view of him last season, Rory and I were together, I'm pretty sure, and he gave Afsan Al Khaladir some fright in a race for just the 4-year-olds, I think it was, and he's swiftly come out and done even better here. He's been very lightly campaigned, but Camillo Ospina on board has been patient and has given this horse a stunning ride. Look, I can't wait to talk to him about this race because he got absolutely the door slammed in his face early on in this race by one of the many Al Khaladir horses here, and still he kept his calm, he kept his composure, and when Turkey Al Khaladir came alongside with Adele in the saddle, he swiftly out-battled, outrode and got the win. Camillo, oh, hugs all round here for Camillo. Congratulations, Camillo, wonderful success. We can walk and talk, let's walk and talk.
Sorry for that.
Don't apologise at all, you gave him a fantastic ride.
No, thank you very much, and thankful with Jcsa, Kale bin Sharif, Dr. Al Jabri, Abdulaziz Al Musa, the trainer. He told me, Camilo, that's why he ran this way. For this horse, I ride this way, because I want to stop my stable stop, and I want to stop Abdulaziz. He told me, Camilo, the horse ran this way, and I can't to ride, but believe me, 4 winners and. Thanks God, I'm thankful with the people from outside, And this horse, he looked very good today. He long time no run, but he's a champion horse,
And it got really, really tight early on, really early in the race. It got very tight. You had the door shut in your face, but you stayed calm. That was what I thought was most impressive, and you still came there and won.
Yeah, he's tough right because, I have the number 4, and I have many horses from outside, tough horses. And I just try to catch very good position, and I had to do the good position and saving my horse because I know my horse is still no 100%. But thanks God, he when I asked him, he responded and he won the race.
And you've got Mr. Trinket in the lucky last of the season. How exciting is that?
Yeah, it's nice horse. I won with him. He's coming from behind. Today is 2000, and I hope he ran good today.
Well, best of luck with that, and go and enjoy the success today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been another great season for Camillo Ospina. Let's watch the finish, though, because it wasn't on a plate, was it, for Najib Al Zaman to retain the crown? But he has done just that.
No, he tends to get himself into these battles. He's done so again, and he's just edged a little bit across Turkey Al Khaladir in the closing stages, but he ends up on about a length clear at the line. So. While if Turkey had come back and it had been a very tight finish, the stewards might want to have had a look at it. I don't think that's going to happen, but he does move out of his path as he battles there. But he's got the all clear, and again, he's come back from an absence to win this in great style as he did last season.
Yeah, comes out of stall number 4. We'll see them come out again in a second, and The one that was disappointed, I suppose, was Bin Galiat Al Khaladia, although it does, I think, plug on eventually to get 5th position, but we're sort of always in the middle of the pack here.
Yeah, Suwaiti Khalid Al Khaladia was the one who showed speed up on the inside to lead Najib Al Zaman in the early stages. Out wide in the orange colours, our eventual 4th, Ikan Buzul, was also handy from a wide draw. But I think Camilo is happy just to take back off this fairly extreme pace at this stage. He wants to make sure that he's in the right place to come with a run. He doesn't want to be stuck on the rails with other horses coming on his outside. So he moves out at this stage. And again, he's probably making life hard for Turkey Al Khaladia, who's immediately behind him with the yellow cap. But the one thing Camilo doesn't want is for Turkey to get first run on him.
Yeah.
And he's made sure that that he's not in a pocket. And as they turn for home, Ikan Debuzul is still in front, but just coming under pressure here. And the big two, as it were, Najib Al Zaman and Turkey Al Khaladia, are going to fight it out from this stage. They're the only two that really count. Suramer, you see the grey with the in the Al Sabah colours, with his awkward head carriage in 4th place, does run on into 3rd. That's very typical of him. Doesn't look the most willing when coming under pressure, but he does keep plugging on. And that's why he's got so many places and so few wins on his card.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this has turned into a really good battle. Turkey Al Khaladia has shown multiple times this season that he will battle until the very end. You see he's really sticking his neck out there. But Najib Al Zaman, the stronger horse, the bigger horse, just sort of bullying him out of that. But the winners very much had to pull out all the stops, and the runner-up has gone down on his shield again. A real battler.
And there's the presentation, the connections of Najib Al Zaman, Safwan Al Ladiat stable, and Abdulaziz Al Mosa, the winning Chanakimira speed. And of course, we heard from the winning rider, top-rated horse, 125, and a repeat win, which, you know, in any race, in any jurisdiction, to come back and win the same race, same championship race twice in succession. And bear in mind, Rory, he won the Taif championship race, and then he's had that period away. I mean, you know, you're winning the right races. They're the ones that count.
Exactly. And I wouldn't have thought he's the easiest horse to get fit off in absence as well, because he's strong. He's quite heavy. He would probably take a bit of training to get fit, and of course you also don't want to overdo that at the same time.
Yeah.
Horses can go a little bit sour if they're overtrained at home. So he's done extremely well over the last year or so. It was the Imam's Sword where he went down in a great battle with Asfan Al Khaladia last January. Losing very little in defeat that day, and the first horse I've seen get Asfan Al Khaladia off the bridle locally. He's proved a little bit vulnerable since. He was the absolute star of the show when we arrived here last year in Taif. But I fell in love with Najib Al Zaman at the same time, and he's come through to show himself to be a top-class horse.
He certainly has. Well, the last race of the season, the honour of reading the runners and riders, belongs to Alex Fussy.
Thank you, Darryl. Let's do this one more time then. It's race 8, the King Abdulaziz Racetrack Champion listed contest over 2,000 metres. The 1 is Al Abjar, the mount of Abdullah Al Udib. The 2 is Alaham Mohammed Al Hubail. 3 on the card is Badr, Abdullah Al Farouz. The 4 is Buon Viaggio, Naif Al Anazi. 5, Calculation, Ahmed Al Zahari. And the 6 is Defunded, Abdulaziz Al Faradi. The 7 is Derivo, Abdullah Al-Lawfi. The 8, Man of the Night for Asil Al-Sharani. Number 9 is Moore's Law, Adel Al-Faradi. And the 10, Mr. Trinket for last race winning rider, Camilo Ospina. The 11 is The Goat, Abdullah Al-Hussein. And 12, the King's General, Wigberto Ramos. 13 is Thunder Squall, that'll be the mount of Tariq Al-Mansour. The 14, Time Najd for Osama Al-Shirani. 15, Wait to Excel, Mohammed Al-Daham. 16, Wooten Sun for Fahad Al-Faradi. And 17 is Jumanat Al-Reem, Luis Morales. 17 runners and 17 familiar faces in here. And Callum is catching up with another familiar face. That is Jimmy Jerkins.
Thank you very much, Alex Fussy. Yes, with Jimmy Jerkins here. Jimmy, look, they say there are no such thing as fairy tales in sport, but it would be some fairy tale if you could win this last race here.
Yeah, it sure would. You know, it's asking a lot of him, old Derevo. He looks like he's lost. If what he's done so far this year is any indication, he's lost a step, I think. But the extra distance might help this time. 1800 last time in the 2/8 Cup, and he tried to finish up good, which he did, but he still wasn't good enough to get muster a nice check. So, but he's been very consistent and very game, and if they start running too fast too early, he might be there to pick up the pieces.
It'll be you and a bunch of other Red Stable runners who will also be picking up the pieces. I think you'll all be coming fast and late.
Yeah, we're well represented here, that's for sure. But like I say, he's been good though. I like how he's trained and how he's looked. He's held his flesh good all season, and he's been sound too. So you never know. And he's good. He seems to be a little better at them. Those horses coming from behind, he can rouse them up and get them, get their attention where they come finishing. So we're out there kicking, trying.
Or hopefully you'll be kicking and screaming in the winner's enclosure when he comes home and takes them all from last to first. That's what we'll be hoping for, Jimmy.
Well, that would be great. Regardless, it's been a great stay. I really appreciate the treatment I got here, and it was a very enjoyable 2 years.
It's been enjoyable having you with us, and we wish you all the best going forward. Darryl, it's back to you in the studio.
Yeah, we wish Jimmy the very best of luck. Thank you, Callum. His emotions will be high, won't they? Final race after two very successful years here, providing runners for the Red Stable. They are well represented, of course, Rory, here, not just with Jimmy's runner Derevo, who's a bigger price, but also particularly with Weight to Excel and Wootton Sun, who are quite hard to split, I suppose, in terms of what they've achieved. And here's a good example of that.
Yeah, we got plenty of footage to watch here. We're going to see Wit to Excel and Wootton Sun in action here a couple of starts ago, finishing second and third to Rattle and Roll. Rattle and Roll comes from a way off the pace to run out an impressive winner here, but Wootton Sun and Way to Excel finish second and third. They were closer to the strong pace and probably worth marking up a little bit on this. It's Way to Excel who finishes second, and Wootton Sun doing good late work to finish third.
Who's fourth in behind?
Mr. Trinket.
Mr. Trinket.
Finishing well as he does too. They were unplaced in the Saudi Cup after that, but they finished in the same order as well. This in the red and black colours is the King's General, who's improving markedly. Recently, he won a not to 85 handicap a couple of starts ago before beating Buon Viaggio last time out. I thought Buon Viaggio looked like he was coming to pick him up, but he's dived across to the rails, looking a little bit less than straightforward. But this is a good run from the King's General. This is a big step up when you consider he was running a not to 85 handicaps not that long ago. This is a cup victory, but this is a much tougher race tonight, and they need to step up again. Yeah,
we'll see Mr. Trinket now after that piece of form that we showed you previously. This was on the big weekend, of course, in the 2/8 Cup race. This is him finishing third to Scotland Yard in the 2/8 Cup. He was also second to Karachi in the King Saud Cup earlier in the season, and he did win a 1600 metre cup race in December when coming from the clouds, very much like this, except he got himself to the front. The winner has gone beyond recall, but then that's Scotland Yard's an exceptionally good horse, and Mr. Trinket does his usual thing of finishing strongly up the rail into a place. If they go hard, you heard Jimmy Jerkin saying it, if they go hard and they get racing early and they go hard, Derevo might be there to pick up the pieces. If they go too hard in this race, Mr. Trinket is my idea of the horse who will come and pick up the pieces. When he gets a clear run on the straight, and as a hold-up horse, sometimes you need a little bit of luck. And I've seen him in a couple of races where he just doesn't get the run early in the straight and can't show what he can do. But several times in the last year or so, he's absolutely flown in the late stages. One of those horses who you really get to love. Yeah, this is the trophy that it's all about. Of course, it is the Racetrack Championship here. This is the final offering of the season. It's an absolute cracker, of course, with these highly rated individuals, and the market is not sure how to play, but it's shortening up all the strong ones. Wootton Sun, Weight to Excel 5-2 favourite, number 15. Wootton Sun into threes. They're both shortening. Mr. Trinket has shortened at fours, number 10. Moore's Law, we need to mention. That's the sort of third of four members for the Red Stable team here at 5-1, and then all the others are on the drift. We go back to Callum. A few pictures for the archives. End of the season. It's got to be done. It's got to be done, Callum.
It certainly does, Daryl. It has to be done at the end of the season. It's been lovely just catching up with everybody and saying my goodbyes. And I cannot stress as much, a lot of the connections absolutely love the channel, whether they have English-speaking friends or family. Lots of people buying these racehorses are English-speaking. So the fact that they can watch our channel and see how their purchases are getting on is really, really wonderful to see. And I tell you what, when the next sales come around, I don't think I'll ever have to worry about finding a place to stay. I've been offered about 20 different homes to stay in when the Doncaster sales are on and when Tattersall's gets going for the Craven meeting as well. So very exciting times ahead. Meanwhile, in the parade ring for this race, I thought Defunded looked really, really well. The best I've seen him look. He started off in the pre-parade ring as per usual, then came out into the parade ring late, but he was very calm. It's the best I've seen him. He sometimes gets into an absolute mess, but on this occasion, he looked very, very calm. All the Red Stable runners looking really, really well. Wait to excel, maybe just the best of them.
Oh, it's so exciting. Thank you, Callum. It is such a race, isn't it? I mean, the previous two races, the two championship races, have absolutely lived up to all expectations. So this one has got to be good just to match what we've seen in the last sort of 30 minutes or so.
It's bound to be good. It's going to be high octane stuff.
Yeah.
And there's two ways this could be run. If it's run at a sensible pace, the classy horses should come to the fore. If it's run very slowly, then something might get loose in the lead and give us a bit of a shock. And if they go really hard, then it's going to play into the hands of the finishers, which particularly would include a Mr. Trinket. DeRavo, we heard as well, might be coming from off the pace.
Which way
at
to
this
go?
2,000 metres.
Which way to go?
I'm hoping this is going to be a burn-up, and I love Mr. Trinket, and I believe I'm too clear in the competition. So am I?
You can't be beaten.
I can't be beaten.
You can play how you want.
So I am going for Mr. Trinket. I can allow hearts to rule head, but there's a degree of head involved in this as well.
Okay. Mr. Trinket then for Rory. I'm with Wait to Excel, and did we get Callum's selection or no? We're going to get it now, Callum.
I'm going to go with Defunded, team. I know he's had a very tough run of things recently, but I must admit he looks an absolute picture in the parade ring here today. So I'm going to take a little punt on Defunded. And I tell you what, I think myself and Daryl are tied. So whoever finishes in front, Daryl, will take second. So I'll take you on here. You can have your selection and I'll have Defunded. So looking forward to this nonetheless. I also hopefully we'll see Bon Voyagio take a good run here. He's been a horse I've loved since he's come here to Saudi Arabia. He's not come over that long ago, but he's a nice type. Daryl liked Wait Till Excel in this race. I like Defunded, and Rory is a big fan of Mr. Trinket. They'll be coming from all over the place, but watch for those green silks flying home at the end. One we haven't mentioned is the debutant Moore's Law. Had some decent form over in the US, Sami Al-Harabi. Don't be put off by that debut, Saudi debut. He'll know the dirt and he'll have plenty of pace. Thundersquall has been showing really good form recently. Prince Saud bin Salman bin Abdulaziz. Not Nicholas Bachelard training this one. This is Mutar Al-Mulawa. This is training this one, but he's done really well as of late. Time Naj is another one who's been in great form recently. A winner last time out. You could just pick them up one by one by one. There's very few here that you couldn't give a chance to. I love Rory's selection of Mr. Trinket. It will be the complete opposite to Camille Ospina we normally see, but it'll be patient and picking through them like a hot knife through butter. Usually the ride of Alex Moreno. Haven't seen Alex here for a while, so we'll hopefully catch up with him next season. Don't forget Badder. Remember Badder last season? Those who were with us at the beginning of last season? Wow, what a horse he was. Really mopped up lots of prizes towards the end of the season. But this season, he's been a different horse altogether. Had a delayed prep, and still I don't think we've seen the best of Badder yet. Calculation has arguably the best pedigree in this race, being bred by the late Queen Elizabeth II, being by Dabawi and out of estimate. That's a pedigree and a half. Certainly the trip will not be a problem for Calculation, but this horse has shown some pretty poor form recently. That third place, I'm pretty sure, came on the turf. Back on dirt now might be too hard. Defunded is where I'm going to go. I really like this horse. Look, won a pretty weak cup race, I can't lie, on Penultimate Star, and was well beaten in better company last time. But the prelims he's handled exceptionally well. So I'll be hoping Defunded can find victory here. Mr. Rory Delagi is a fan of Mr. Trinket. He's already wrapped up the tipping competition, so he's going for a fun play with Mr. Trinket. And Daryl likes Wait to Excel, who I have to admit looked fantastic in the prelims. For the final time, and the final time this season, I will throw to our commentator, our voice from above, our man in the sky, Mr. Alex Fussy.
Thank you very much indeed, Callum. Then here we go for the lucky last. Runners are behind the starting stalls. They've just been pushed back together, the stalls, so they're in place for a load. We will soon have action in our season finale. The King Abdulaziz Racetrack Champion, this listed event over the 2,000 metres trip. 300,000 in the prize pot. It's a belting way to finish, and plenty been discussed by the gents with regards to fancies and chances here. Can Mr. Trinket come late and perhaps cause a little bit of an upset, albeit a very talented individual? A reminder, we've got loads of red stable runners here, so Derivo is in the traditional silks. They're going in fact, the red cap. It's a white cap for Moore's Law, who will come out of stall number 4. Green for Wait to Excel, drawn in 16. And yellow, right there, Wooden Sun, who will move in to stall number 7. So we are loading. We are getting ready for action. The curtain coming down on the season. What an exciting one it's been. We've seen plenty of special performances. And who can write their name on the roll of honour in this last event. There's the one, Al Abjar, about to come up. Abdullah Al Odib on board will go into stall number 8. Yellow colours of Badr coming up as well. Been out of form. Can this one spring back to life? Buon Viaggio moving up now for Naif Al-Anazi. Also the 6 going in, Defunded. So last 2 or 3 to their places. As gone midnight, we will have the last here local time. With the 15, Wait to Excel coming up and in. Slotting forwards. Standing by. They're off. Underway in the season finale, the King Abdulaziz Racetrack Champion listed contest. They will go 2,000 metres here. Let's see where the early pace will come from. Down the middle, Alaham got a good start. Also up there early is Defunded. The purple jacket on the outside, green cap of Wait to Excel is pushing forwards, and with that one is Thunder Squall. They're well fanned out early, but the early pace is not incredibly strong. It's honest, but they're not taking each other on too badly at this point in time. Buon Viaggio is down on the inside running rail. Yellow cap Wooden Sun is following. Badr's not too far off the speed as well, with Man of the Night for company. Looking a little further down into midfield, we'll find the likes of Al Abjar. Also Mr. Trinket, as expected, well off the pace. Derivo is going to wait for a late charge. Other runners at the back of the pack are Moore's Law and Time Nudged. As up top it's Thunder Squall over to show the way. Leading up here at the moment by half a length. The King's General improving to race prominent. On the inner is Defunded, who's still very handy. They're being followed by the green cap Wait to Excel, who sits in 4th. Up on the inside, Buon Viaggio next in the field. Now being pushed along, Man of the Night asks for extra effort. Badr is trying to stick with them. Wooden Sun is next. Mr. Trinket is starting to make a bit of headway, weaving around the outside. Alaham goes backwards up the running rail. Derivo looking for gaps. Up top it's Thunder Squall. Tariq Al Mansour leads the field for home. 3 parts of the length the advantage. Wait to Excel moving up sides in second. Back in 3rd place the King's General. Then Defunded, who's got no more. Buon Viaggio. The front pair are trying to get away. Up on the inside, Thunder Squall has been trying to fight off. Wait to Excel. Thunder Squall is fending off that challenge and is coming away to the line. It'll be Thunder Squall in the season finale. Beating Wait to Excel in Trinket, running on for 3rd, and 4th, the King's General. Victory for Thunder Squall, for Tariq Al Mansour. has gone on to win yet again. What an improver. Up for the 4-timer Thunder Squall. It's been a tremendous run for this individual, and clearly on a rapid rise. Has managed to done it again. Sensational performance. Not really in too much doubt as well. There was a bit of question marks with regards the early pace, but that wasn't to be too hot, and Thunder Squall was able to maintain it off the sharp end. Tremendous performance, connections, as you can see, rightly delighted. There is saluting the crowd on the way past the line, beating the 15 Wait to Excel into. And you will be waiting a little while for the next in. There we have it, Mr. Trinket, who's run a screamer to finish in third, and up to the rail, the King's General has taken 4th honours. They've come home then in the season finale. That is all from me. Over and out. What a way to finish. A very impressive performance from Thunder Squall.
Well, Thunder Squall's continued a fantastic run to come home. I think around about a 6-1 chance on the international markets, and holds off Wait to Excel, who came there challenging, couldn't quite get to the lead. Mr. Trinket's back in third place, number 10 on the card. And the King's General has crossed the line in fourth. So it's 13, 15, 10 and 12. And it was a great finish, wasn't it, Rory? It really was.
It really was, and I was hoping from my point of view that they would go really hard in front and set it up for the finisher. But actually 3 of the first 4 were up there really from the start, and the winner has made virtually all the running. Maybe the first furlong he wasn't quite in front, but he got himself to the head of affairs. You heard in commentary from Alex Fussell that they weren't going really fast. There were 4 or 5 of them who wanted to be in handy positions, including Wait to Excel, who's finished second. Defunded was right up there in the early stages as well. He's dropped away disappointingly in the straight. He's not quite the horse he was in his heyday in the US, but he's shaped well for a long way. And Mr. Trinket came with his usual late run, but the pace didn't collapse, sadly, but run an absolute cracker into third. And the King's General has improved again to finish fourth. He's been rapidly progressive in the last few weeks.
I mean, a brilliant finish, and I suppose, you know, red letter day almost for the winner there, Thunder Squall, to take on this sort of company and emerge on top, Callum.
Yeah, I mean, he's just kept improving all the way through, and he is tough as nails. Each of his last 3 wins, and now last 4 wins, he's not run away from them and not been caught. He's just been shrugging off challenges left, right and centre, and he did it again. And he just showed such a great attitude for Tariq. And remember, he can't claim in this race either, so he really had it all to do, and he's just enjoyed every second of that.
Absolutely. Look, we're just watching the jockey going to the scales now. I mean, a fantastic moment for him, because, you know, not only this is the last race of the whole season, but it's one of the most significant as well, Rory. So, you know, what a moment.
Yeah, it's a culmination of the season for a lot of these horses.
Here's the finish again now.
A listed contest on the international standard, local Group 1 as it was last year, and it's lived up to expectations with a really good finish. And Thunder Squall, as Callum said, has progressed through the season. We've talked about the big stables, the White stable, we talked about the Red stable winning the championship, we've talked about the Al Sabah stable getting their 100 points on the day, but this is another big stable to talk about, the stable of Prince Saud. This is, you know, a kind of a sleeping giant. There's a lot of horses, a lot of expensive bloodstock running in these colours, and they're beginning to break through a little bit more. It'd be interesting to see how they can challenge next season.
Well, these colours were top of the world when they had Emblem Road winning the Saudi Cup. You can see pictures of Wigberto Ramos on board that horse all over the racecourse, all over Saudi Arabia. All the advertising for this year's Saudi Cup featured Emblem Road. It hasn't quite kicked on from there,
No.
you feel, and they have sort of regathered, refigured out their plan, and I do think Nicolas Bachelard is cooking up something quite exciting.
Yeah, it feels like it's coming together again. I thought last season and early this term it wasn't really working out for the stable, but the results have come together since December. As you said, you never get a chance to speak to Nicolas Bachelard because he's always receiving a cup at the end of the card. So yeah, in recent weeks and months, it's come together for the stable of Prince Saud, and I think that could be a really interesting battle.
I mean, it will give them hopes and expectations for next season, and it will also sort of set out the stall, you know, because it wraps up now, and everybody, you always remember the last winner, and this is the one that we'll be focusing on going into the close season.
Yeah, well, we're watching it now, and I think what's most important is the fact they didn't go hard enough for Mr. Trinket, but he still came third. But you were talking as he ran round. Camillo went very wide on that bend. He had to pass a lot of horses. Could he have stuck more towards the rail?
Well, he could have done without Badr being there. He's had to come wide of Badr. It was beginning to weaken. And
you're not the first person to say that.
Yeah, and he's therefore had to come a little bit wide into the straight, and that stemmed his momentum briefly. But it made no difference to his finishing position. He would have been a slightly closer third with a better run round, and it wasn't working for him to come with that run up the rail as he has done a couple of times this season. You've got to pick one or the other. Either you come up the rail and look for the gaps, or you peel wide and know that you're getting clear running.
Yeah, we're just seeing the closing stages on the screen now as we enjoy it one final time, and you know, living up to all expectations, I guess, this closing race.
Let's also talk about the King's General as well.
Yes,
a horse who's very similar to Thundersquall, just on the improve rapidly.
Yeah.
He's shrugged off Bon Voyagio this time. He was ahead of him last time, but he's ahead of him
that was
this
a cup contest, but it wasn't the strongest, and I thought this was a big step up in class for him. But he's gone handicap win, cup win, and then fourth in one of the strongest races of the entire season. So he's a horse to look forward to again next
look
season.
at these celebrations, guys. I mean, this is fantastic, isn't it? Because look, it's all about, you know, collecting a trophy and acknowledging your achievements, and I don't think too many racecourses do it better than they do here in Riyadh.
What we love about racing here is the fact that the presentation position where these celebrations are happening has moved, because usually it used to happen where we are stood right now. But they've given it into its own personal presentation area, which just brings up the atmosphere even more. It's a nightmare for me trying to get an interview as we're running along the track, but it works well.
And it's right in front of the stands is where it should be for the crowds, whereas here in the on-saddling enclosure we don't get quite the same coverage, and the crowd don't quite get the same atmosphere either.
Yeah, I did love it, guys, when the race reached its crescendo. I mean, you're lucky you're out here every time, Callum, but Roy and I don't have that privilege. And the noise just exploded here, didn't it? Now, I'm suggesting there might be more noise than your average race, but it was great to listen to.
Yeah, it's this race as well as the Najib Al-Zaman contest earlier on in the card, our penultimate race. It felt like the ground was shaking there because you had two powerful stables next to each other who both really don't like each other that much either. And it was a cracking finish too, just repelling Turkey out Caladir.
Look, it's a day, of course, when we wrap everything up, when we you know, crown our champions and we reflect on the season as a whole, guys. And look, we had the Owners' Championship wrapped up yesterday, of course. The Jockeys' Championship was probably wrapped up last weekend. And 100 up for the leading owners, or sorry, for the Al Sabah yard tonight as well. 145, I think, in the end, wasn't it, for the Red Stable? But, you know, to get to 100, the perfect time to do it, the last day and everything.
Yeah, it's nice to set that kind of standard. We said we don't, like a batsman, you don't want to be left in the high 90s.
No.
On the last day of the season, it was great that Snafia could get the points and actually take them beyond the 100 as well, getting extra points for that. And Snafia was as game as they come. It was a really good race between Snafia and Alpha Saleh.
Easy for you to say, of course. Yes.
In the 1200 metre race for the mares, they went head-to-head right from the start of the race. It was ding-dong all the way through. I reckon the lead changed hands several times through that race. It looked like Alpha Saleh was just getting the better of it with 150 yards to run. But then Snafia battled back under Mohammed Al-Daham. Just the perfect victory for Mohammed, for the stable, for Thamar Al-Dahani and for the owner to cap what has been a fantastic season for all three.
Yeah, he secured second place, of course, just from Camillo, who was, you know, battling on in the final few races. But I talk about the noise out here. There was a lot of noise in our studio when that final few moments of that race was playing out. I was with Snafia and Rory was with Al Fasalea. What a finish. What a duel.
Look, at the end of the day, it brought flashbacks to earlier on in the season when Mohamed Al Daham took on Mikel Barcelona in an absolute humdinger of a finish. And he literally lifted this horse up in order to take him. On that time, he was on the rail. This time, he wasn't on the rail. He was the one on the outside, and he absolutely loved it. It was a cracking finish. I loved watching it, and I do think in a close finish, I thought it was Adel Al-Faradi with who you had to follow, having watched last season's racing.
Yeah.
But Mohamed Al Daham, if you're in a humdinger, head-to-head, what a finish. What a finishing jockey. So
well, we've had some fantastic championship races. We've got to have a look back and reconsider this win of Najib Al-Zaman in the Arabian race, because here was us. We're watching the finish now, or the race now. Champion last year, Rory, then champion in Taif, off between times. I mean, first of all, just to get the horse ready at the right time, but then to produce that sort of performance.
Yeah, never easy. Obviously, had several races here last season, and for him to have gone from winning the racetrack championship in Taif to come here after that kind of break and win on the last day of the season, the market suggests that maybe he might not be 100% fit for it. It wasn't entirely sure of him, but he ran right up to his best form to beat Turkey Al Khaladia, showing lots of guts in the finish. That could have gone either way for a long way, and he just edged in front in the last 100 metres to win that narrowly.
Yeah, what a brilliant race that was. I mean, you want your big races to produce good finishes, Callum. I suppose a lot of people hope the best horses are prominent and play a major part in those races, and I think we've had them go that way today.
I think that's been the most exciting part about today. We've had some really good horses take each other on and get into head-to-head battles. We've not had too many disappointments. I mean, the last race, you could say that, oh, maybe the big names didn't come to play. They were running in the Saudi Cup, the Kuwait Cup. They've had busy seasons.
And of course, Jcsa still run an absolute cracker in finishing second.
Oh,
so,
absolutely. For a moment, looked like he might win. Look, we're coming to the end of our coverage. It's been absolutely fantastic being with you through the season. We need to reflect on some highlights. So, gentlemen, just one from each of you. Rory, what would be your race, your highlight to take away?
Oddly enough, it was at the Festival of Arabian Racing, which wasn't
expecting that. Okay,
the one that didn't count.
But it served up one of the great races. We expected either Talal Al Khaladia or Asfan Al Khaladia to turn up. Both of them were declared. That was the case last season. Only one of them ran, and we were waiting all day for one of them to be withdrawn. They weren't. They went head-to-head. They had a tremendous battle. Talal Al Khaladia won very narrowly from Asfan, but Asfan got the race in the steward's room in the most dramatic race of the entire season.
Not the choice I was expecting, but maybe yours is going to be a more obvious one.
Very obvious. Forever Young, Saudi Cup. What a race, what a horse, what a finish.
Absolutely. Listen, it's been fantastic being with you this season. We've got to thank everybody as well who's helped to put this programme to air. You know, you've been out here with your team as well. I mean, everyone plays their part, don't they?
They really do. We've got to thank Greg, our producer, every cameraman and camera person that works on the team as well. We're out here all the time. Never, ever a dull moment. Nawaf and Mustafa have been superb for me all season.
Yeah, and the racing, of course, you know, that over and above everything else, this wonderful place as well to watch racing. You know, if you get an excuse to come here, you really should. It's been a fantastic to be a part of it. I think we'd all agree on that, wouldn't we, Rory?
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a great experience, both last year and this, and we're looking forward to next season already. Hopefully in Taif, but we'll be happy to come back here in October.
Listen, thank you to you both. Thank you to all our presentation team as well. It's been an absolute privilege to be bringing you this racing on the English-speaking YouTube service over the past 6 months. Now, though, it is time for us to say good night. So thank you very much. Do come and join us again next season. But from everybody in Riyadh, it's good night.